Talksport's Ben Jacobs there. Yes, no Bruno Fernandes, as we know, but they do have a marquee manager in Simone Inzaghi, appointed just a day after leaving Inter Milan. It is a new challenge, a very financially rewarding challenge for Simone Inzaghi. Is it the right move for him, Scott Minto?
You're trying to say it's not for the football, Joe? Is that?
Well, look, he's got some good players to manage, but...
No, you don't need to respond to that.
Where could he have ended up in theory?
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think the bottom line is that's what they have to do. They have to pay big bucks to get the big players, the big managers over.
Perfect time.
And what I would say, in terms of from a managerial point of view, it's an absolute no-brainer for a couple of years. You can come back and then do whatever you want to do after that. From a playing point of view, I do think you need to be at a certain age. It's interesting, someone like Ruben Neves has been out here for some time and he's still in his late 20s. But in terms of Inzaghi, no, I think he's a top class manager, and he will have been hurt by what happened in the Champions League final. But this bottom line is a new chapter, and he did really well. He won Serie A, he won 2 Coppa Italias as well. So look, he did what he did at Inter, but as I say, this is a new chapter in his life.
Trent Alexander-Arnold walking out onto the field of play at the Hard Rock Stadium. Remember, before the Club World Cup matches, every player is introduced and brought out individually. Do you see Simone Inzaghi managing in the Premier League one day? He's got a couple of years that he's going to spend in Saudi Arabia with Al-Hilal. Then I wonder, could you see it?
I think he's certainly good enough. I'm not sure if he speaks English, and if you come to England in the Premier League, then you certainly have to do that. You know, just look at Unai Emery when he first came to England, and he was ridiculed, and I think that was out of order, to be honest with you. I know what it's like to go to another country and try and learn another language, but you know, this is the Premier League, and if you are going to be a manager, I do think you have to learn the language. But look, if he can do that all day long, I mean, he's a top class manager. This is, as much as what I said earlier, this is purely about the money, and he can move on from there if he wants to. He might decide to stay longer, but do I see him in the Premier League, or can he be a Premier League manager? 100% a Champions League team at that.
Big cheer for Thibaut Courtois, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, as he makes his way out of the tunnel in one corner of the stadium here. And Manchester City have already won this afternoon in the Club World Cup. They beat Wydad Casablanca by 2-0 in Philadelphia, and the rest of the results so far today look like this: Monterrey 1, Inter Milan 1, and Ulsan 0. Mamelodi Sundowns 1. The other game in this group H, Pachuca against RB Salzburg, underway at 11 o'clock. And they're about to get underway at the Under-21 Euros. Big game for England against Germany. The draw's enough to send England into the quarters, and that is live on Talksport. Make sure you download our app to be across absolutely everything. Now it's the turn of the Al-Hilal players to make their way out onto the field of play. There's no way we're going to kick off on time again here at the Club World Cup. That's been a feature of this tournament so far. They just can't seem to stick to time. They've had days to get used to this, and they're still not doing it. But regardless of that, Scott Minto.
I was going to say, Joe, we did the Atletico PSG game, didn't we? And they were 5 or 6 minutes over.
Well,
and there's been Chelsea were a few minutes. I mean,
it's happening again.
You only need a few times for it to happen to learn from it. But yeah,
they haven't learned from it.
Not kick off at 8.
Not a chance. But we will bring you the game here on Talksport 2. And will it be a tough game for Real Madrid, Scott? I mean, we've spoken about Simone Inzaghi, a lot of players that we'll be familiar with in the Al-Hilal lineup: João Cancelo, Kalidou Koulibaly, ex-Chelsea, Renan Lodi, who we saw play a season at Forest in the Premier League, Milinkovic-Savic in good goal-scoring form, Ruben Neves, and no Alexander Mitrovic, which is a shame, and he's out with an injury. But Marcos Leonardo, the forward, has a great goal-scoring record since joining the club in the autumn of 2024, so this is not a walkover for Real Madrid by any means.
No, it's not. They've got some really good players, and you just mentioned about in their defence with Lodi and Cancelo. And Cancelo I loved as a Manchester City player, I really did. But 2 really good fullbacks. Koulibaly didn't really happen for him at Chelsea, but he's still a very good player. I love Ruben Neves. I'm not quite sure. It's just a bit of a shame, really, that he's not in the Premier League at the moment. And
still only 28.
He's still only 28. Still got time. But Milinkovic-Savic is a really good player as well. He'll look to try and get in the box. He'll look to try to be dangerous on set pieces and also any crosses coming in. They've got some really good players, Joe. So I'm sure that Real Madrid won't go out there thinking, oh, this is going to be easy. But if for some reason they go out there thinking they're not really right up for this, then they could get hurt a little bit. I do expect them to win, but I do expect it to be a bit of a difficult game as well, and they might have to up a few levels before they actually really turn it on and show them who's the boss.
Well, they've still got the flag bearers out on the pitch, the FIFA awning and the two club crests hovering over the edge of the penalty area, being held up by volunteers, and the Club World Cup 25 banner across the entirety of the centre circle, and the golden shield in the middle of it as well. So we're still at least 2 or 3 minutes away from kickoff here at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. There's an American flag, the stars and stripes up on the top of the stand on the far side of the field. It's a pretty good crowd by the looks of it here. Certainly not as many empty seats, Scott, as we saw in Atlanta for the Chelsea game a couple of days ago that also kicked off at 3 o'clock. Chelsea, by the way, in action next on Friday. Scott and I will bring you commentary of their game against Flamengo on Friday night here on Talksport 2. But the anticipation is very nearly over. We are going to see Trent Alexander-Arnold in a Real Madrid shirt for the very first time. Of course, he has got the utmost in competition with Dani Carvajal, who's been out for injury, but a Real Madrid and really a European football legend poised to provide that competition. So where do you see Trent featuring for Real Madrid? Is there any possibility that he moves into a midfield role?
Do you know what? It's fascinating to see what would happen, because you're absolutely right to bring up Dani Carvajal, who has been just one of the best fullbacks of the last decade in world football. Obviously, he had that cruciate injury. He's travelled. He's wanting to play. Trent is 100% fit, and he's got to play it. So when this legend kind of comes back, and I don't use that word easily, like a Cafu or a Roberto Carlos, Marcelo on the other side, you know, does Trent keep his place? Look, I think he will, and I think the bottom line is, like in anything, you're not guaranteed a place. It's all about form. But Trent has the first opportunity to really stamp his place in this position. We know that Xabi Alonso is quite happy to play with wing back, so he can play that if he wants to try and get the two in, and maybe Dani Carvajal would end up being one of those centre halves. I don't see it though really with Real Madrid. I don't even see him moving into midfield because they've got such good players. I think it's one of those where Real Madrid normally have so much possession, then you're able to move into midfield when you want. But I do think he's going to be a right back for Real Madrid, and once Dani Carvajal is 100% fit, I am fascinated to see, because to displace this Spanish legend, that's not an easy thing to do.
Well, Trent is not the only debutant tonight. Dean Howson, one of the outstanding defenders, centre-halves in the Premier League last season, at the age of just 20, has made the move from Bournemouth. Big money move, well done to Bournemouth. It was a superb piece of recruitment, and they've made a huge profit on what they originally paid for Dean Howson. But I mean, what an opportunity for a man with the world at his feet at just 20 years of age, Scott. But again, it is a completely different level of pressure when you move to Real Madrid.
Absolutely, and look, he's a youngster, but to be fair to him, he's already done so much, hasn't he? He's played in the Premier League, you know, he's played for his country. He played against the Netherlands as well, where, you know, where he was born, and yet he was still arguably man of the match. I think this is just such a young, an old head on young shoulders. He's got everything. I remember speaking to people at Bournemouth, and they were saying he's a Champions League player 100%. I'll tell you what though, it's one thing to be a Champions League player, it's another thing to play for Real Madrid.
Handshakes between Xabi Alonso and Simone Inzaghi, two brand new head coaches, and for Real Madrid, the first opportunity for Trent Alexander-Arnold to show what he can do in the all-white of Los Blancos. It will be Al-Hilal, all in blue, who get us off and underway, live on Talksport 2. 4.5 minutes late, by the way. Real Madrid playing from left to right here beneath the blue sky and bright sunshine in Miami. And as I say, Real Madrid all in white. They have Courtois in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Asensio, Howson and Fran Garcia, Tchouaméni, Valverde and Bellingham, Vini Jr., Rodrigo and Gonzalo Garcia up front for Al-Hilal. Bono in goal, Cancelo, Altambakti, Koulibaly and Renan Lodi, Neves and Al-Dosari, Malcolm Milinkovic-Savic and Salem Al-Dosari behind Leonardo up front. And Real Madrid have some early possession with Raul Asensio midway inside his own half of the field, and he's rolled the ball forward towards the halfway line in a first touch in a Real Madrid shirt for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who appears to have started the game. in a slightly inverted position. He's moved into the middle of midfield, and he's sitting alongside Chouameni at the moment, Scott Minton.
Yeah, well, look, we see it a lot with teams now. When they're in possession, one of the fullbacks moves into midfield, and he's certainly done that in the first minute.
Out on the left-hand side, raiding forward for Real Madrid. In field from the left was Vinicius Junior, but he's overhit the pass up the inside left towards Jude Bellingham, and it'll be a goal kick to Al-Hilal, who are the most successful side in Saudi Arabian football. Historically, they finished second in the Saudi Pro League. The coach, Jorge Jesus, was sacked last month after the team were knocked out of the Asian Champions League Elite at the semi-final stage. And now Simone Inzaghi has taken charge at the club. They've been free-flowing and high-scoring over the course of the last year. Milinkovic-Savic with a low shot, turned away by Courtois. Good effort that from range, and then Milinkovic-Savic is chopped down on the edge of the penalty area. That's a clear foul from Valverde, and a free kick in a very dangerous position. Already the Serbian international Milinkovic-Savic, who's been in great goal-scoring form, testing Thibaut Courtois inside the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, and it's Real Madrid who are trying to press Bono, the keeper, so he's just gone long, and then there's a flick on, and suddenly it's like a 4v4. And Milinkovic-Savic gets the ball on his left foot. He's 25 yards out. He has a shot. I actually think Courtois should have done a little bit better with it. He just parries it out. It comes back, Milinkovic-Savic gets it again. And, you know, Fede Valverde, he's just dived in there. What an opportunity now it is for Al-Hilal in the first couple of minutes. Literally on the edge of the D, just inside, to 19, 20 yards out, pretty much bang down the middle.
Real Madrid 0, Al-Hilal 0. Live here on Talksport 2, and Simone Inzaghi with that trademark shouting from the edge of the technical area. I saw that so much across his time as Inter Milan boss. It's hard to believe that less than 3 weeks ago he was managing in a Champions League final. Big opportunity here for the Saudi club. Milinkovic-Savic is sizing this one up right on the edge of the D, dead centre, hits it right-footed into the wall. It'll rebound out to the near side, the left, and the shot is struck by the former Nottingham Forest loanee Renan Lodi with the red boots on. He's blocked off. Now an opportunity for Nasser Al-Dassari to raid down the near side. And Renan Lodi delivers, steered away, not convincingly, and then hit from range again over the top. The swirling shot this time from Ruben Neves, another familiar name, the former Wolves player. That sails high over the top of Courtois' crossbar and behind for a goal kick, but certainly it's been a nervy first few minutes from Real Madrid.
It's been a fantastic first few minutes for Al-Hilal, and if they didn't know it before, they certainly know now that they're in for a game. Real Madrid need to just get hold of the ball, not been able to do that so far. It's been Al-Hilal who have done whatever they want, whether it's gone short or gone long. They've created a chance where they've nearly scored. And we need to get hold of the ball, Madrid.
First touches in his Real Madrid career for Dean Howson, and a long diagonal ball aimed down the right towards Rodrigo. Header out to play by Renan Lodi. Xabi Alonso standing, hands on hips, all in dark blue, on the edge of his technical area. Did a brilliant job at Bayer Leverkusen, led them to unprecedented heights, the league title in 23-24, and of course incredible success at Real Madrid as a player. But it is an almighty pressure cooker when you are in charge at the Bernabeu. There's nothing quite like it in world football. Jude Bellingham has won it back deep inside opposition territory. Wins Real Madrid a throw level with the edge of the 18-yard box, goes backwards to Fran Garcia on the far side, the left. It's 0-0. Bellingham looking to drive towards the dead ball line, away from two defenders in blue. Back he goes now to the middle of midfield, and it's Raul Asensio, 35 yards out with a long-range shot, and it's gathered by the goalkeeper Bono, Moroccan international, right in front of the goal line.
Yeah, it's better for Madrid, isn't it? Just in the last couple of minutes, getting hold of the ball. Jude Bellingham being one of those players to say, no, I'm not having this start so far. Used his physicality, then a bit of skill, played it inside, went out to Raul Asensio. Decent shot, we have to say. One of those bouncing just in front of the keeper, but Bono dealt well with it.
Missed out on La Liga, missed out on the Champions League last season, Real Madrid. The end of the Carlo Ancelotti era, and an end of an era on the pitch as well. Luka Modric will be available for the Club World Cup, and then he will move on to pastures new, as will Lucas Vazquez. It really does feel like the changing of the guard. Ball floated forward down the left by Fran Garcia. High towards Vinny Jr. He's held it up in front of João Cancelo, the former Manchester City man. Down by the dead ball line, he nutmegs Cancelo, does Vinicius Jr., but it's smuggled away by Al-Tambakti for Al-Hilal, and they now win a free kick midway inside their own half of the field. Foul on Malcolm by Fran Garcia. Real Madrid enjoying some possession, and they enjoy the vast majority of the support in the crowd today. Lots of white shirts dotted all around the Hard Rock Stadium, which holds just under 65,000 for football matches. Al-Hilal have it now with Kalidou Koulibaly rolling it all the way back to goalkeeper Bono, and it's out to the right back area now. Al-Tambakti to João Cancelo, and Ruben Neves dropping deep into his own half. Back to Bono, all in bright orange, and Koulibaly again, who we know from his season at Chelsea and days at Napoli. Now Renan Lodi over the halfway line. Good football from Al-Hilal. He's threaded it forward down the near side channel towards Salim Al-Dasari. Sliding in was Raul Asensio, timed the challenge well at the expense of a throw.
Yeah, good tackle. Great tackle. It's one of those where if you're going to go to ground, you have to win it. Because he would have been really dangerous down that left-hand side, but very good tackle from someone who's a youngster at Real Madrid, but had a brilliant season, although say it wasn't successful for the club, it certainly was for Asensio.
A long throw from Renan Lodi into the penalty area, headed away by Valverde, not very far by the Real Madrid captain, but they have managed to win it back on the near side, at least momentarily, through Rodrigo, but the game has now been stopped. Valverde's gone down just in front of the edge of his own penalty area, and Facundo Tello, the Argentine referee, is signalling that the physio can come on. Xabi Alonso has called over Aurelien Tchouameni, and Fede Valverde being treated now by two of the medical personnel after a clash of heads, I think, with Koulibaly. 0-0.
I'll tell you what though, Joe, it's been a good start to the game, hasn't it? Been a really interesting one, and whatever people have said, and you know, from a player's point of view, I'm not sure this tournament should be happening. From a fan and broadcasting point of view, I'm absolutely delighted, but I think we've seen some good games so far, I really do, and I think they're only going to get better as more jeopardy comes as well, and it's been a really good start in the first 8 minutes here.
Former Chelsea defender Scott Minto is with us. You are listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com. England 0, Germany 1 at the Under-21 Euros in Group B, and that is live right now over on Talksport. So there is some jeopardy for England at the moment. They would be going through anyway, but they need a draw to absolutely guarantee their spot in the knockout stages. Commentary over on Talksport. Just download our free app to swipe between both stations, and you can watch live shows on our app as well. There'll be a throw to Al-Hilal out on the far side there, right, and they go all the way back to the halfway line. It's with Ruben Neves, who's dropped in between the two centre-halves. Koulibaly forward into the centre circle. Good ball out to the left, and Renan Lodi, who shuffles back infield and plays it square to Milinkovic-Savic. More good football from the Saudi club. Out on the right is Malcolm. Overlapping run from João Cancelo to chip in the cross. Salim Al-Dasari hits it, and it's turned just wide from the edge of the six-yard box. What an opportunity for Leonardo. The centre-forward, who is so prolific in front of goal, found himself the right side of Asensio, but couldn't turn it into the far corner, just wide of Courtois' right-hand post, and it stays Real Madrid 0, Al-Hilal 0.
Well, I was just thinking, I wonder how many training sessions Inzaghi has actually had, but because that looked like an absolutely perfectly well-trained, he's done it a million times at the training ground, team goal, and that, if that had gone in, that would have been a fantastic goal. One of the best goals of the tournament so far, going from right to left to sucking in Real Madrid plays, bringing it back out to the right again, overloading down the right, cross in, and a volley, or even the ended up having a shot that Leonardo had. It would have been a brilliant team goal. What a start we've had so far from Al-Hilal.
10 minutes gone, and they have been much the better team, though it is still Real Madrid 0, Al-Hilal 0. Lots of superstars here today. Scott, Clarence Seedorf and Michel Salgado sat alongside each other in the VIP area. I saw Arsene Wenger, of course, working for FIFA these days, down in front of the dugout when the two teams were warming up. And Michel Salgado, a well-connected man in football, no doubt. sitting next to Clarence Seedorf, and all the stars are here for the tournament. And I tell you what, the games that we've seen, certainly, Scott, so far, haven't been bad at all, and this has been a really good start here in Miami.
Yes, it has. It's been played despite the heat and the humidity, been playing with intensity. And, it takes two teams to make a good game, and certainly Al-Hilal are showing that.
And Al-Hilal, of course, will be used to these sorts of temperatures as the ball is cleared upfield by Salem Al-Dassari. Little tap back from the giant Milinkovic-Savic. Oh, and a risky ball from the defender. Nearly allowed Gonzalo Garcia to steal in and tap it home from the edge of the six-yard box. Such a risky pass from Hassan Al-Tambakti. It was short to Koulibaly, and Gonzalo Garcia so nearly got there. He actually got the touch ahead of Koulibaly and poked it wide. And it's a massive chance for Real Madrid, 0-0.
Well, I don't know what the centre-half Tambakti was thinking. You don't try and play first time backwards in your own box when you're on the penalty spot. And Koulibaly did well, actually, because he looked as if he was going to try and make the tackle, because Gonzalo Garcia got in there first, but he just stayed out of it. And Garcia, I'm sure, if Koulibaly had stuck his leg out properly, would have made sure he got the touch, got the contact, go down, and it would have been a penalty for sure.
Very open and entertaining start here on Talksport 2. Real Madrid 0, Al-Hilal 0 at the Club World Cup. Al-Hilal on the attack with Nasser Al-Dassari. Wide to his namesake Salem. They're not related, the two players. Nasser Al-Dassari crosses, and it's hacked away from inside the penalty area by Housen of Real Madrid. They're now on the break. Out on the near side, the right. They wanted a free kick, Al-Hilal, but they didn't get it from the referee. Inzaghi's way out of his technical area, as always. As Real Madrid go on the attack, a long diagonal from Trent Alexander-Arnold over the head of Vinicius Jr. and out of play for a throw. Renan Lodi still down deep inside the Real Madrid half.
Well,
they wanted a penalty.
Yeah, never a penalty. Never a penalty. And I'm not quite sure whether he is actually hurt. We don't know. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was never a penalty for sure.
Rodrigo with the faintest of contacts.
Yeah. And he's come in. It was the right decision. But just interesting, I don't think I've ever seen Simone Inzaghi not wear a suit.
Yeah.
Obviously you're not going to in this heat. It's the first time I've seen it.
Even with that stylish Italian dress sense. He's in a polo shirt and the tracksuit trousers today. Well, there's a still treatment going on here for Renan Lodi. The magic spray has been brought out. But there was nothing in the challenge from Rodrigo. He absolutely made the most of that.
Yeah, completely.
And rolling along the floor.
Yeah, he hasn't gone into him at all. And look, he could have fallen awkwardly, and it may well have hurt. But the bottom line is, it wasn't a foul.
Well, they are an exciting attacking outfit, Al-Hilal. They did finish second, as I say, in the Saudi Pro League to Al-Ittihad, but they are prolific scorers. 95 goals in 34 in the league season. Nearly a quarter of an hour gone, 0-0, and the game is going to get back off and underway. Renan Lodi having received treatment. He's temporarily off the pitch, and he gets the signal from the referee to come back on. Real Madrid break. Gonzalo Garcia taps it down the middle. Vinny Jr. chopped down by Koulibaly, but the free kick has gone the other way, and Vinicius Jr. is yellow carded for diving. That's a big moment in the game so far. The referee felt that Vinicius Jr. was looking for it. He must have felt there was no contact from Koulibaly, Scott Minter.
Look, he hasn't made any contact, but the way that Koulibaly has dived in, he's had to jump out the way. And you don't have to make contact if he has to avoid a challenge. So for me, actually, I don't agree with that. You know, did he go over a little bit easy? Maybe so, but he's had to go over the challenge. So it's almost like the intent from Koulibaly has made him jump over.
Well, what is fascinating, what we've been getting, Scott, at the Club World Cup so far is replays of the referee cam on the monitor here in the commentary position, so we can see exactly what Facundo Tello could see from his angle as Al-Tambakti goes in on Vinicius Jr. And again, there's no free kick.
Look, in this way, I like the way he's refereeing it. He's allowing play to go on. He doesn't want any diving or cheating. I personally don't think it was from Vinny Jr. there. I think he's had to jump over and evade the tackle. That's the difference between thinking or trying to bring in a touch and then go down.
Leonardo, the Brazilian, with his back to goal for Al-Hilal, into the path of Sanam Al-Dasari, out on the left-hand side. He controls the ball down by the dead ball line, and he can't twist away from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it's a goal kick to Real Madrid. A slow and frustrating start for Real Madrid, who have won the Club World Cup more times than any other team in the competition's history, 5 times before, and in fact in 2022 they beat Al-Hilal in the final. But
that's a good game, wasn't it?
It was an amazing game, 5-3. Not a lot for Xabi Alonso to get excited about so far, though.
Not at the moment. And we talked about how this will not be an easy game if the mindset is not right, if the intensity is not right. It's not an easy thing to do in these conditions, but you still have to control the tempo of the game, and it's been more Al-Hilal who have done that so far. It's been a brilliant start from them.
Alexander-Arnold, right back position, high ball over the top. Looks like it's got too much on it for Rodrigo. Koulibaly, always the favourite, and he shepherds the ball out of play. Much the stronger of the two players in that challenge, much the taller as well, Koulibaly, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, we're going to have to be on Trent watch, aren't we? And
we are.
See how he does for these 90 minutes. He's been, steady so far, but he's overplayed that one, and he certainly hasn't quite got the weight of the pass just yet, not in terms of the long pass anyway, because he didn't have any challenge on him, so perhaps should have done a little bit better there.
Tried one of those classic long diagonal Trent balls a few minutes ago, a little too much on it for Vinicius Junior. There's a free kick to Real Madrid on the halfway line. We're 17 minutes into the game on Talksport 2. Still England 0, Germany 1 at the under-21 Euros on Talksport. And this summer we'll be following the women, England's women, the Lionesses, at the Women's Euros from Switzerland. I'm delighted to be part of the England commentary team. Can the Lionesses do it again and lift the European Championship once more? As Trent Alexander-Arnold looks to dart down the right for Real Madrid, but he's committed a foul on Renan Lodi. That is a free kick. Yeah, every women's game from Euro 2025, the Lionesses will be live on Talksport, which as ever will be the place to be for the Men's Premier League next season as well. We have the men's fixture list released today. Sanam Al-Dasari darting down the middle of the field for Al-Hilal, and he puts Renan Lodi through, and he scored! From the angle he's beaten Courtois, but it will be ruled out because the flag is up. Lodi, the former Nottingham Forest loanee, was in an offside position. At least that is the first indication, and that is what the replays show us as well, Scott Minter.
Yeah, absolutely. And he should be looking along the line, really, because he's been able to time his run. He's actually a good 2 yards offside. And the way that Real Madrid were completely opened up there, the ball played inside Trent. Not a lot he could do about that. You could argue it was just a good line from Real Madrid, but it's been a very positive start. Finished it really well. I know Thibaut Courtois is one of the best, along with Donnarumma, in terms of Allison and one-on-ones. It's a great finish, but it's been despite it still only being 0-0 because of that offside, it's been a brilliant start. And it's not from Madrid.
Al-Hilal, much the better side so far, but it is still 0. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic with the ball out to the right-hand side, and he gets the return pass from Malcolm. Milinkovic-Savic away on the right with a sweeping crossfield pass, which is headed away by Alexander-Arnold from close to the edge of his penalty area. Now here is Renan Lodi. Infield to Ruben Neves. Lovely move from Al-Hilal in the build-up to that goal, and Real Madrid look a bit lacking in inspiration so far. They look quite flat, and some of the players look quite tired, dare I say it, after the rigours of another long campaign.
Well, they are. They're really tired, and they've been tired for sort of 6 or so months. I think we saw that, and certainly in the game against Arsenal. They're not quite at it. I mean, the mentality is there, never doubt them with that, but physically, and that's going to be Xabi Alonso's big problem. Obviously, with what's happened here, we're talking about Manchester City and Chelsea. It's the same for Real Madrid in La Liga next season.
Vinicius Junior putting the ball back to Gonzalo Garcia on the edge of the area, and he gets his shot all wrong, scuffed it. Great awareness from Vinicius Junior to play the cutback. Gonzalo Garcia running onto it, but he skewed the shot. Nothing behind it, and Al-Hilal clear, 0-0.
Been the best bit from Real Madrid there. Decent play down the right-hand side, and it was a good cutback, and Yeah, Garcia didn't get hold of that at all, but at least they're almost trying. Well, first time they've threatened Al-Hilal.
Out on the left-hand side is Lodi again, playing it back to Salem Al-Dasari. There's a great pace to this game at the moment. Milinkovic-Savic, 21 minutes gone. Lodi out on the near side, back to Milinkovic-Savic again. Most of the field of play bathed in Miami sunshine. Little touch from Salem Al-Dasari. Out to the near side, the left again. Renan Lodi pulls it across and wins a corner off Chouameni. So we've got the Lionesses at the Women's Euros and Wales as well, live this summer across the Talksport network. We've got the Men's Under-21 Euros live right now. England 0, Germany 1 on Talksport. And here at the Club World Cup, we'll bring you all of Chelsea and Manchester City's group matches on the network. And it is Real Madrid 0, Al-Hilal here tonight on Talksport 2, with Al-Hilal winning the game's first corner. Out on the near side of the field. And plenty forward in the blue, including both centre-halves. One of them is Koulibaly, lurking just in front of the goalkeeper. Here's the delivery from Salem Al-Dassawi into the near post. Deflected away again, Scott Minto, for another Al-Hilal corner.
Well, it wasn't a good corner, but he's got a second go at it, so he's got to just lift it a bit more. We'll have to wait and see how good Al-Hilal are on set pieces. And I'll tell you what, I was going to say just a few minutes ago, Joe, if someone had just come in, you're saying it's Real Madrid against Al-Hilal, who's playing in blue, you would have said it would be Madrid.
Milinkovic-Savic is another massive threat from set pieces as well. Again, Salem Al-Dassawi is going to take the corner into the near post, poor delivery, and cleared away by the first man, who was Jude Bellingham. 6'4" Milinkovic-Savic, but they haven't been able to use his aerial ability just yet, though Al-Hilal have looked threatening throughout the first quarter of the game so far. Malcolm, the Brazilian, number 77, out to the right, and João Cancelo, who gets the return ball from Milinkovic-Savic and then wins a throw for Al-Hilal close to the dead ball line. Milinkovic-Savic quickly back to Malcolm, and now Ruben Neves midway inside the Real Madrid half. They're dominating possession at the moment, Al-Hilal. No question about it. Real Madrid can't get the likes of Bellingham on the ball at all, Scott.
No, absolutely. You look at terms of ball possession, 60% to Al-Hilal. They've also had 6 attempts to 2. I just did not see this coming. I mean, I knew it'd be difficult, but even after the first couple of minutes, Real Madrid can't shake themselves out this lethargy. Malcolm,
right corner of the penalty area. João Cancelo on the overlap, level with the edge of the 18-yard box, goes on the outside of Fran Garcia, twists away from him again, delivers the cross, right-footed, headed away, and hit on the volley by Malcolm, and he's sliced that so far wide. It's gone out for a throw in the right-back position, but Real Madrid have just not been at it in Xabi Alonso's first game in charge so far.
I can do that. I can volley the ball and then go out for a throw-in. No, but they've been so impressive in the first 20-23 minutes. Honestly, just confident on the ball, good patterns of play, which I didn't expect to see with Inzaghi just recently in. They even put it ball in the back of the net, but Lodi went offside, and it was certainly the correct decision.
And a different setup, at least on paper, to what we're used to seeing from Simone Inzaghi teams, although I think to an extent, Scott, they are pushing one of the 2 fullbacks into a more forward advance role when they've got the ball.
Yeah, look, they're doing again what Real Madrid and other teams do as well with the ball. One of the fullbacks moves in to make it a midfielder, and one of those holding midfielders moves further forward to make options, to play little passes through the thirds as well. But there's no doubt about it, it's Al-Hilal who are dominating in terms of getting on the ball, dictating tempo, creating chances. Been a very good first 25 minutes.
Gonzalo Garcia unable to hold the play up, and now Koulibaly leading the counter-attack for Al-Hilal, and he plays it through to Salem Al-Dassawi in the penalty area. Good last-ditch challenge coming in from Real Madrid. It was Chouameni who poked the ball behind. It's another Al-Hilal corner, but at the moment Real Madrid cannot deal with the threat, and this time Trent Alexander-Arnold was totally out of position.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't necessarily blame him because he's expected. Real Madrid had the ball and then lost it. Koulibaly did really well, actually, winning it and then really striking through. And Al-Dassawi, he just came inside, and Chouameni, that's what you want from your defensive midfielder, just helping out your defenders. They're hanging on in there at the moment, Madrid.
Still 0-0, but Al-Hilal are threatening with every minute that goes by. Salem Al-Dessari with the in-swinging corner, much better this time, fizzed into the 6-yard box and headed behind by Gonzalo Garcia this time. So corner number 4 coming up for Al-Hilal, whose supporters are vastly outnumbered in the United States here today. Real Madrid shirts everywhere you look, but the vast majority of the crowd are very quiet at the moment. Corner to be taken by Ruben Neves. It'll be right-footed and it's set up to swing away from goal here. Ruben Neves with a short run up to take this corner. Looks up and drills the ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed wide by Al-Tambakti this time. And the chances just keep on coming for Al-Hilal, but they cannot beat Courtois.
You know, they're passing and creating chances in open play. They're going quickly on the counter-attack. When they win the ball back, they look dangerous on set pieces. I think Xabi Alonso will be desperate to get into half-time, just keeping it 0-0. Fascinating to see if he'll actually change anything. Sometimes it is just a question of the players need to step it up. And in terms of individuals and also as a team, it's Al-Hilal who are dominating this game so far.
You are listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Sign up now at dazn.com to watch every game live and for free. We've had 27 minutes and there's a lethargy about Real Madrid, who are looking leaden-footed really in comparison to their opponents. Conditions playing a part, Scott Minto may be in that?
That's the same for both teams, isn't it? Can't complain, and when it's this hot and this humid, then you need to keep the ball better. They haven't done that. And I just think Al-Hilal, they're playing against Real Madrid. This is their cup final, isn't it? And with respect, they're not going to get through to the final. How many times, opportunities do you get to play Real Madrid?
And create big chances against them.
And it lifts you. If you're playing against the big team, you're up for it, 100%. And if Real Madrid aren't, which I don't know if they are or not, but I'd hope from Xabi Alonso's point of view that they're not, because if they're playing at maximum, then that's very worrying.
In the centre circle is Howson, just shy of the halfway line. Out square to his immediate left, and Fran Garcia, now Tchouameni to Trent Alexander-Arnold.
And what you need when you're under pressure is the midfield. Look, you win games in both boxes. You know, scoring goals and a goalkeeper or defenders making some really good saves and clearances. But in terms of controlling the tempo of the game, which is what they need to do right now, it's down to the midfield. And we're not seeing anything really of Jude Bellingham, not really of Tchouameni or Fede Valverde.
Real Madrid playing from left to right. All in white. Dink over the top from Alexander-Arnold. You could see what he was trying to do up the inside right channel, but Koulibaly headed it away initially in front of Valverde, and now hacks the ball clear with his right foot, and it bounces towards the halfway line. Headed infield by Leonardo, who couldn't keep it in play, right in between the two head coaches. Lots of Luka Modric replica shirts on show today, and I'm sure he will get plenty of game time before he says goodbye to Real Madrid.
Yeah, I just saw a picture of him sitting on the bench as well, and he, you know, prime Luka Modric, who was on the pitch and helped control the tempo. And I wonder, despite him being at the age he's at, and this would be in his last tournament in a Real Madrid shirt, whether Xabi Alonso would bring him on in the second half at some point to just try and gain that control, because they certainly haven't got it at the moment.
We're into the cooling break now as we tick towards the half-hour mark. Lots of Real Madrid players have got their ice-cold towels on the backs of their necks and just spraying themselves with water from the bottles. It is very hot and humid out there, and Real Madrid have not produced the sort of level that Xabi Alonso would have wanted or expected so far. How much pressure is there on him, Scott, to win the competition? Is it a case that if he doesn't win it, then that adds something extra already?
No, I mean, look, you know, is there pressure to win this tournament? Yes. You're a Real Madrid manager. Real Madrid demands, your president demands, your fans demand you win every tournament that you enter. But, you know, if he doesn't, no, it won't be as if like, oh my goodness, you know, 10 games in he could get the sack. This is a classy guy. He's been a very good player. I don't mean to say he's going to be a good manager, but he's shown at Bayer Leverkusen just how good a manager he is. Very tactically aware, football intelligent, good man management. You know, and I think he's able to, as we saw as a player, he's got that temperament where he's able to be, you know, clinical and see what needs to be done. I wouldn't be surprised if he does make changes at half-time, but this is perfect for him now. This is like a half-time. This is, he needs to be able to change it. I saw him talking to the midfielders, including Jude Bellingham as well. And I'm sure he's saying, look, we just got to get hold of the ball. Even if it's not sort of getting forward and necessarily creating chances, we need to stop them being on top at the moment. But he won't be happy with the first half an hour. But no, it won't be a question if they don't win the tournament and suddenly he's under pressure for his job.
Well, Real Madrid have been lacking so far, but it remains 0-0 as the cooling break comes to an end. You're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com. We'll bring you Chelsea against Flamengo on Friday night on 2, and we're with Manchester City on Monday at 2 a.m. against Al-Hilal. That'll be on Talksport. Make sure you download our app to be across all the action. We've got the Under-21s Euros ongoing, the men's Under-21 Euros. England 0, Germany 2 now. And England in trouble over on Talksport. And of course we'll bring you the women's Euros following the Lionesses. All the England games live from Switzerland on Talksport this summer. Rodrigo in field for Real Madrid, to the feet of Valverde. Back to the centre circle now, where Dean Howson is waiting. Out to the left, the far side, and Vinicius Junior, who shapes to cut in field. England's under-21s, by the way, are heading through out of Group B as it stands. That is partly, though, because of results elsewhere. Rodrigo to the edge of the penalty area, left-footed curling shot, hits the roof of the net. Bono, the goalkeeper, got a good sight of it, actually dropped his hand down to pull out of the save. He knew that it was swirling over the top.
Yeah, goalkeepers know exactly whether it's going in on target or not, and it was the right thing to do. But it's better from Real Madrid. That's what we need to see. The players picking up the ball and driving at the defence. And Rodrigo, very, very good player. Not seen as the star at the club. I'll tell you what, he's an amazing player, and he can step up, he can score really important goals, he can make great assists. And we need someone to step up at Real Madrid and do something here.
Rodrigo, who has expressed frustration, hasn't he, Scott, with being what he's almost described as a fill-in player in lots of different roles. And that, again, that's just one of the things that Xabi Alonso's got to manage.
Yeah, it's so harsh, really, isn't it? But when you got Kylian Mbappe and Vinny Junior as well, it's almost like he is the third. But no less important than anyone.
Good interception by Alexander-Arnold in the right-back position, and now Gonzalo Garcia. Good burst up to halfway. Vinicius Junior driving down the middle. Joining the attack in support is Valverde, who nudges it on to Rodrigo. Great ball to the back post. Tucked in by Gonzalo Garcia. What a goal for Real Madrid. Gonzalo Garcia started the attack from deep, and he's on the end of that lovely ball across the face of goal. It's the first of the Xabi Alonso era, and Real Madrid are off and running. The young man Gonzalo Garcia has scored, and it is Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 0. If that's a flavour of what we're going to get under Xabi Alonso, then there is a lot to look forward to.
Well, first of all, we've got to say it is against the run of play, but it doesn't matter. Keep that clean sheet and then try and make sure that you score. It's the first time they've really got through with intent. Good play, counter-attack run. Suddenly Al-Hilal are scrambling to get back, and Rodrigo has crossed it in, but Gonzalo Garcia, it doesn't matter. But he's tried to side foot it. It's gone from his right foot to his left foot and dinked over the keeper. There's no such thing as a lucky goal, Joe, unless you see that.
There is there. What about the build-up though? Lovely football.
No, it's brilliant football. And that is what he'll be looking for. And look, Real Madrid want to be dominating the game and then opening up teams when they're on the ball with possession, but there's no doubt about it that having the ability to go on the counter-attack and score a goal, so important. It doesn't matter that it kind of scuffed off from his right foot to his left. The score sheet says Gonzalo Garcia and Madrid are 1-0 up.
10 minutes of the first half remaining, and Real Madrid have lift-off under Xabi Alonso. 1-0 they lead at the Club World Cup. Good interception in the right-back position, this time by Rodrigo, who looked to drive forward. The goal scorer, Gonzalo Garcia, goes back to Alexander-Arnold. He had his First team breakthrough initially in 23-24, Gonzalo Garcia, born in Madrid, and scored his first senior goal last season. Now on target in the Club World Cup, and maybe fitting that a player Madrid born and bred gets the first goal under the new head coach. Wasn't it?
Yeah, that will give him a lot of confidence, won't it? Not really done too much. Had one attempt where a bit of a scuff shot on his left foot. And again, it doesn't matter. You ask any striker, they just want to score as many goals as possible. There's only one goal in this game so far, and it's coming from him and Real Madrid.
Howson 10 yards shy of the halfway line, and they look a little shaken by that goal. Al-Hilal hardly had a kick of the ball since the game restarted. Forward by Tchouameni to the captain Valverde. Bellingham in that triangular passing between the three of them. Fran Garcia back to Bellingham, who stands just inside opposition territory. Now Trent Alexander-Arnold to the right of the centre circle. Will ball to the near side, and Rodrigo hugging the touchline. Lovely ball by Rodrigo. Great weighted pass for the goal. Still 2-0 to Germany against England at the under-21 Euros. Bellingham racing right through the middle, and he's played in Gonzalo Garcia again. His first touch took him well wide of the angle. It was impossibly tight, and in the end it's saved by Bono.
Yeah, just brilliant play from Jude Bellingham. That's what we want to see more of. You know how good he is. He's already world-class, not bordering on world-class. And again, I don't use that phrase lightly.
Yeah.
Sensational player, he really is. I'm certainly pleased he's English. He just found a pocket of space there. Great turn, touch, weighted pass for Garcia in between the right back and the centre back. Garcia did well actually, decent first touch, but it was just a little bit wide, and Bono came out and made a good save. But it's amazing what difference a goal makes, doesn't it? Real Madrid starting to dominate on the ball.
Yeah, what did you make of that little debate that seemed to be ongoing over the international break over, I don't know what the phrase is, Bellingham's persona or attitude at times? Is that unfair?
He has got an attitude. It's called a winning attitude.
Yeah.
And it's almost Michael Jordan-like. Can't quite put him in that category right now, but I do think the attitude is very similar, and it can upset people. And he does have to be careful if others are not able to handle it in the way that he can. That's the question of, a bit of emotional intelligence and man management. Despite him being so young, he's got to manage his teammates as well, because he is, I think, our best player. And we need him at his best, but we need him to bring the best out of everyone as well. So there's a balance to be had. But no, I think he's amazing.
He's still only 21, and so much still to achieve, no doubt. Having achieved such a lot already. An extraordinary amount.
Yeah, I was told that when he first came into Real Madrid, even in the pre-season, he was barking orders and telling multiple Champions League winners where to go, and it's like this kid who's 19 who just turned up. Amazing mentality as well as physicality and technical ability.
Al-Hilal have won a penalty. The referee did not hesitate to point to the spot. Foul inside the 18-yard box, and Al-Hilal have the opportunity to peg Real Madrid back here. It came almost out of nothing. High ball driven downfield, and the challenge from the defender coming across, I think it was Asensio, making a late challenge on Leonardo, and he's just grappled him back in front of the referee, who, as I say, had no hesitation to point to the spot. It is a penalty to Al-Hilal.
Do you know what, Joe? Leonardo has gone down so easily, but the moment that Raul Asensio brings the second arm round, it's one thing to have an arm where you're up against him and you're even grabbing just a little bit of the shirt, but the moment that second arm comes round, it gives the striker the ability to go down. I think he's gone down really easily. For example, if he's 2 yards out and he's got the chance of a tap-in, he's not going down, but he wasn't, and it didn't matter, and it is a penalty.
Ruben Neves standing over the ball. The former Wolves man, Al-Hilal's number 8, up against the giant and imposing figure of Thibaut Courtois, 6'7" away to the left-hand side. Al-Hilal with a chance to get themselves back on level terms in these sweltering conditions. First game of the Club World Cup this year for them. And first game for Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso, who might be about to concede under the new head coach for the first time. Ruben Neves with a relatively straight run-up. Then he slightly angles it, hits it right-footed and sends Courtois the wrong way. He gave him the eyes. It's a perfect penalty and Al-Hilal are level, and deservedly so. Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1.
Absolutely, Joe. They do deserve to be level. The first goal came against the run of play, and you wonder whether, just sort of a minute or so afterwards, Real Madrid would have started to boss the ball. But no, Al-Hilal, fair play to them, they came back into it, but it's such bad defending. There's no need to do that. You know, there's a fellow defender around him, there's another one 5 yards away. He's not going at goal. Why would you put that second arm around and give him the chance to go down? But how cool is he, Ruben Neves? What a player. What a player. I mean, a brilliant passer of the ball. I admired him when he was playing in the Premier League. I do think it's a shame he's playing in Saudi, but how cool and calm, standing there, and Thibaut Courtois goes one way, the ball goes the other.
He's given Courtois the eyes, hasn't he? Looked towards the goalkeeper's right, instead went to his left. And it is 1-1, and Simone Inzaghi's team are making the greater impression here in Miami. The scores are level. Monterrey 1, Inter Milan 1 earlier. Ulsan 0, Mamelodi Sundowns 1, and we brought you Manchester City 2, Wydad Casablanca 0. Lots more Club World Cup football to come across the network before the end of the tournament. And England's under-21s 0, Germany 2 remains the latest score over on Talksport right now. England, at the moment, would go through anyway because it's goalless in the other game in that group, but a goal elsewhere could change things. Salam Al-Dasari for Al-Hilal shoots from the edge of the box, and it's blocked by Alexander-Arnold. The coverage of the under-21 Euros will continue following England, assuming that they do get through, of course. We have the Women's Euros in Switzerland this summer on Talksport, following England every Lionesses game as Serena Wiegmann's team look to retain their Euros title. Tchouaméni, big diagonal ball for Real Madrid out to the right. Rodrigo plucks it out of the air neatly, shuffles in field. Al-Hilal have got everybody in dark blue back behind the ball. 2 minutes of the first half to go, and it is 1-1. Vinicius Jr. out on the left, pokes it forward towards Gonzalo Garcia, and he can't keep it in play. Altan Bakhti came across to shepherd it behind for a goal kick, and there is a lot wanting, I think, for Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid. Scott, that brilliant move for the goal aside, I wonder whether we'll see any half-time changes.
Well, I said that. We know that Xabi Alonso is, tactically, very tactically aware and fluid as well in systems, but also he doesn't be afraid to make substitutions. He's got certainly a lot of quality on the bench, and what I would say is, if anything, he'd be absolutely delighted it's 1-1. With Simone Inzaghi, he'll be thinking, well, we've been the better side and should be a goal up.
It could be worse for Real Madrid. Here is Alexander-Arnold again in the right-back spot. Looks to play the ball infield, and eventually knocks it forward towards the lip of the centre circle where Fede Valverde is waiting. He's pushed the ball square to Tchouaméni, under pressure there, Valverde. And Tchouaméni to Alexander-Arnold again, now standing in the centre circle himself. Angled ball to the right, and Rodrigo faced up by Renan Lodi. Rodrigo darts forward and accelerates to the corner of the penalty area, then has to check his run. Back to Alexander-Arnold, now Rodrigo again in the middle of the Al-Hilal half. Al-Hilal with everyone behind the ball here. Simone Inzaghi's well-drilled, well-organised team. Renan Lodi's cleared it away for them. Asensio forward to the centre circle. Bellingham knocks it right down the middle towards Vinicius Jr., who went down under the challenge of João Cancelo. The referee didn't think there was a foul. It was close to the edge of the box there. As we await to see how much added time there will be at the end of this first period. Al-Hilal have it on the halfway line. Milinkovic-Savic, there'll be 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here. And Al-Hilal have been bold in their approach, not afraid to go toe-to-toe with Real Madrid. Salam Al-Dasari has controlled a good diagonal ball out on the left. He's played it behind Renan Lodi.
Do you know what? João Cancelo with that 50-yard crossfield pass from right back. You're expecting Trent to play with that ball. They've gone back to sort of dominating possession as well in the tempo of the game. I'm really impressed with Al-Hilal. I do wonder whether Real Madrid will find a way somehow to win the game. They've done that so many times over the years as well. But in terms of this first half, they've played so well, Inzaghi's side.
He's missing a lot of key players, Xabi Alonso, and obviously with all of the international football that's been happening, I think his first training session, there were just 3 senior players that he had available to work with. A minute through the 5 added at the end of the first half, and it's all Al-Hilal at the end of the first half, playing from right to left, and they continue to look very comfortable on the ball. A lot of experience in the Al-Hilal team. Salim Al-Dasari, the captain, surging infield from the left, up to the edge of the penalty area, 1-2 with Milinkovic-Savic, and he shoots just wide of the far post. Al-Hilal feel that there was a touch on its way behind. I think they will get the corner. What football! And Salim Al-Dasari very nearly put them in front for the first time in the game. Took a deflection behind off Asensio for a corner.
Well, again, just brilliant play. You know, expecting Real Madrid to have this type of play, but no, it is Al-Hilal. Come inside, little 1-2, and we're behind it, aren't we? And on his right foot on the inside left, expecting to curl into that side netting, and the net just ripple. Important touch.
1-1. Corner to Al-Hilal in first half stoppage time. In by Ruben Neves and gathered by Courtois in his 6-yard box. He quickly throws the ball out to Rodrigo. Now Vinicius Jr. inside the Al-Hilal half. They're looking for the counter ball down the middle towards Fran Garcia. It was going up the middle, but misplaced, intercepted by Altan Bakhti, and they got everybody back pretty quickly there, did Al-Hilal. England 0, Germany 2 is the half-time score at the under-21 Euros. Goalless between Slovenia and the Czech Republic elsewhere in Group B, so England will be okay, but not convincing at all from Lee Carsley's team. Second half will be live over on Talksport. Just download our app to make sure that you're across absolutely everything. Halfway through, first half added time, and Real Madrid again having to work without the ball as Al-Hilal loft it back to goalkeeper Bono. Bono to Altan Bakhti, right back position, and he's going to clatter it long. High up the middle, Milinkovic-Savic wins the flick on, tries to nudge it towards the inside right for Al-Hilal, and Malcolm has won the throw of Fran Garcia. Pretty much to a man, Al-Hilal have been the better side. All over the field, really. Milinkovic-Savic on the right to Malcolm again. João Cancelo forward in support. Got a lot of really experienced title winners in their team, Al-Hilal. And it's an opportunity for Nasser Al-Dasari to look for Salim Al-Dasari. Infield touch from the left to Renan Lodi, and now square to Ruben Neves. We've got just over a minute of first half added time remaining, and it is still Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1. Renan Lodi out on the left again from an infield position to Ruben Neves in a central area. Little chip across to Altan Bakhti, has to hoist that downfield clumsily, really, up into the air, steered away by Asensio, and beautifully controlled off his boot by Ruben Neves to bring it down again. Maybe the game's outstanding player so
Yeah, he's
far.
running things at the moment, isn't he? And it's not just confidence given with the penalty. He was very good before that. Such a good player, such good awareness. Left foot, right foot, brilliant passer, short and long.
High ball over the top down the right for Al-Hilal. Leonardo is after it. Dean Howson gets across, and the offside flag goes up belatedly against the Brazilian Leonardo anyway. Leonardo, who had a great chance, remember, to steer Al-Hilal in front when it was still 0-0. But they are here to compete, and Real Madrid, if they didn't know it beforehand, are most certainly in a contest here in Game 1 for them at the Club World Cup. Gonzalo Garcia back to Alexander-Arnold. We're into the dying embers of the first half here now. And indeed, the referee has had a look at his watch. And that is half-time. And a very muted reception for Real Madrid as they leave the field at the break. Halfway through Xabi Alonso's first game in charge, but in large part they've been found wanting. They did take the lead against the run of play after an excellent flowing move. The one-good move they put together, Gonzalo Garcia on the end of it to turn the ball home. But Ruben Neves has deservedly equalised from the penalty spot for Al-Hilal after a foul by Raul Asensio rather. And at the break, it is Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1. Former Chelsea defender Scott Minto, what have you made of it?
Yeah, look, I've been really surprised. I mean, I did think, I looked at the players of Al-Hilal and, you know, the quality they've got, the managers come in, but I didn't think they'd have enough time to sort of set those patterns of play. Honestly, I've been so surprised with how they've kind of dominated that first half. There's been little times where Real Madrid have gone forward, and obviously one of those being with the goal. The goal itself, the finish was with a bit of luck. I can't believe, you know, in open play, defensively they're stronger, they've passed it, they've switched the play, they've, you know, countered-attacked really well. Almost in every single, they look dangerous on set pieces, almost every single department. They've been better than Real Madrid, and as I say, I knew this wouldn't be easy, but I didn't think Madrid would be as poor as they are. Let's give credit to Al-Hilal for not allowing them to do it, and I kind of feel sorry for the defenders, especially the two centre-halves as well. You know, Dean Helson's only 20, he's making his debut. Raul Asensio's only 22, he's still a youngster, but did have a very good season. Trent's making his debut as well, and then there's Fran Garcia, who's not the first choice left back. But I don't blame the defence, I kind of blame the midfield. They've been given no protection whatsoever. With the experience of Bellingham, Tchouaméni and Valverde, they've not protected the back four at all, and I think Madrid are lucky to go in at 1-1.
And Trent's not been able to get into the game because there's not really been much on for him, has there?
Not really. He's tried to play a couple of long balls which hasn't really come off. And what I did actually like, he then didn't try to force it and play some more long balls when they weren't really on. He kept it short. Look, he's an incredibly talented player, incredibly. And we know that he's an experienced player as well, but he will be nervous and wanting he and the team to be doing a lot better in the second half.
All right, Scott, thanks very much indeed for now. Former Chelsea and Benfica defender as Scott Minto with us here on Talksport 2, intriguingly poised at half-time in Miami. It is Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1.
Online, on DAB+, and on the app. This is Talksport 2. FIFA Club World Cup kickoff on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Sign up now at DAZN.com to watch every game live and for free.
Car owners, you could be owed thousands in compensation. If you bought a car on finance from 2007 onwards, it may have been sold with hidden commissions. Text check to 86688. My Claim Group. Authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. You don't need to use a CMC. You can claim direct to your lender and the Financial Ombudsman for free. Text check to 86688.
Claims made simple.
It's a chilled summer's day. The twins are splashing in the paddling pool while Mrs. Thing puts her feet up. She's proper chuffed, having saved money on a British Gas boiler service. It's like an MOT for your boiler, just £79, reduced from £109. Bliss. Well, it was nice while it lasted. British Gas, taking care of things. Visit britishgas.co.uk to learn more and see full T's and C's. Sale ends 9th of September 2025. Offer available to new boiler service contract customers. From the director of Top Gun Maverick.
Formula One is a team sport. We all lose our jobs if you can't pull off a miracle.
No pressure.
Starring Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, Kerry Condon, and Javier Bardem.
I'm offering you a seat in Formula One. If you win, you are the absolute best.
F1 the movie, in cinemas June 25, filmed for IMAX. Book tickets now. Free on DAZN, the unmissable FIFA Club World Cup. 1 month of elite football, the best teams in the world finally facing off in dream matchups. But only one club can become world champions. The first ever FIFA Club World Cup, 32 teams, 63 matches, from the 14th of June to the 13th of July. Every game free on DAZN.com. That's DAZN.com. Free subscription required, no payment necessary. See DAZN.com for details.
Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Your live sports station.
Oh, what a move.
This is Talksport 2.
a new man in the hot seat and a new star on the field who's a familiar name. Salam Al-Dasari hits it and it's turned just wide. From the edge of the six-yard box, what an opportunity for Leonardo.
Would have been a brilliant team goal. What a start we've had so far from Al-Hilal.
Darting down the middle of the field for Al-Hilal, and he puts Renan Lodi through, and he scored! From the angle he's beaten Courtois, but it will be ruled out because the flag is up.
Did not see this coming. I mean, I knew it'd be difficult, but even after the first couple of minutes, Real Madrid can't shake themselves out of this lethargy.
Valverde, who nudges it onto Rodrigo. Great ball to the back post, tucked in by Gonzalo Garcia. What a goal for Real Madrid. It's the first of the Xabi Alonso era. Al-Hilal have won a penalty. The referee did not hesitate to point to the spot. Ruben Neves with a relatively straight run-up. Then he slightly angles it, hits it right-footed and sends Courtois the wrong way. He gave him the eyes. It's a perfect penalty and Al-Hilal are level, and deservedly so. Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1. That's how the first half sounded from Miami's second half commentary to come here on Talksport 2. Elsewhere today in the Club World Cup, in another live Talksport 2 commentary, Manchester City comfortable winners against Wydad Casablanca to get their competition off to a winning start. Let's hear now from the manager, Pep Guardiola.
No, of course, Kevin is difficult to replace. We know that for the quality that he has. That is no doubt about that. But at the same time, the club decided from Brian, because he has the incredible skills close to the box, the incredible vision, pass, and many things. And it's just the first game in tough conditions. So, and really pleased that he's here.
That's the Manchester City boss, Pep Guardiola there. And it's not just live football that we bring you on the Talksport network, as day 2 at Royal Ascot delivered once again.
Is now quickening up on this near side. Ryan Moore coaxing him home. True Love, who was second at Gestalt earlier, now is going to beat the best of the fillies around and has stormed up.
She's done that pretty nicely, really, in the end. I thought that was a lovely performance.
Karmas are still there. Will he tied up? Will he hold on? Karmas is just going to hold on, probably by 3/4 of a leg.
Well, it was a really lovely performance, and yeah, backs up his previous 2 victories this year.
Coming off on the outside is Crimson Advocate, still holding on his running line, but sprouting wings is Crimson Advocate and James McDonald, and is storming home. She just flew in the final stage and was won by a couple of lengths from Cinderella Stream, who had no answer to that turn of foot. Still, Ombudsman may just be getting up. Ombudsman is going to get up. Ombudsman has found the key.
Fantastic performance from a really, really likeable horse.
Well, there's plenty more racing at Royal Ascot to come tomorrow. It all starts here on Talksport 2 at 10 a.m. with Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly, live from Ascot with all the latest news, tips and interviews with Group 1 winning jockey William Buick and top trainer Michael Bell. Then Talksport brings you live coverage of the first 4 races in H&J and Drive, including the historic Gold Cup at 4:20, whilst Racing Live on Talksport 2 brings you comprehensive coverage of the first 6 races from 2 o'clock. To listen to our coverage, simply download the Talksport app to swipe between the stations. Meanwhile, we are just 59 days away from the return of the Premier League.
It's Talksport. We are Premier League.
It's into the area. Palmer. Oh, he's got a 4th.
And Burnley are back in the big time.
Anderson for Wood. Can he get a shot in on the turn? Oh, you bet he can.
And that coming in the far post. There is the goal for Manchester United.
Dejan Kulusevski into the area right-hand side. Curls it goalwards. Brilliant 4th.
And after 8 years away, Sunderland are Premier League again.
Now Haaland on the turn. Of course he scores.
Here is Saka onto Havertz. Goalkeeper comes out.
Swings into the box. Evan 2-0. What a goal from Bournemouth on the counter-attack. Oh, given away to Isak. There's his goal. Alexander Isak. Off goes the champagne.
And Leeds United can officially celebrate being promoted to the Premier League. Watkins, can he get there? He's round the keeper. Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa.
Back towards Salah. Throw deflection. Salah pokes it in.
The Premier League title is coming back to Anfield after a 5-year absence.
Premier League football at full pelt, live on Talksport. Yes, the Premier League is back on the 15th of August, and the Talksport network will bring you more live commentaries than anyone else. Following the release of the fixtures this morning, last season's champions Liverpool will start their title defence against Bournemouth at Anfield on Friday the 15th of August. Meanwhile, Arsenal have finished runners-up for the last 3 seasons and have a particularly tough opening 6 games. Man United away, Leeds at home, Liverpool away, Forest at home, City away, Newcastle away, and ahead of the return of the Premier League. We have asked Scott Minto for his very early predictions for next season. Now, Scott, a lot can change. We're in mid-June. There's a long way to go. But as you see it now, Premier League winner?
Can I go home?
Yeah.
No, look, and
there's a lot to happen.
Yeah, well, no, but let's have a bit of a laugh about it and a bit of a prediction for where
as
we
it
are.
Is now.
Speaking as it is now, June 17. It's so difficult to win back-to-back Premier League titles, but I'm going to go for Liverpool. They've obviously not kept Trent, but they've kept Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. Milos Kerkez and Frimpong, I think, are very good players. Wirtz has come in, look, a lot of money being spent and therefore a lot of pressure, but a wonderful talent. And I genuinely think that just as they've been really good, just fell away at the end, they've just looked as if they've brought people in and are going to get even better. So I'm going to go for Liverpool at this moment in time.
Top 5?
Right, so...
You know that Liverpool are there.
Mikel Arteta's not going to like this, but he's going to finish second again. Now, and that's if they do get a striker. I cannot believe that he won't get a striker. We've been going on for seasons now, and you know, he's got to turn around and say to the board, you have to give me, you know, whoever I want, really, in terms of the strike, and go all in on that. So I do believe they will. I just think, I think they'll be fresh, obviously not being involved in the Club World Cup, whereas Manchester City and Chelsea are. And they'll be so motivated from what's happened for the last few years as well. You know, if they don't recruit very well, I'll put them down there, a little bit further down. If they do recruit really well, I may even, because of that motivation, put them as champions, but I'm having them second at the moment.
Not convinced by City, then, so far?
I think they're still in the rebuild at the moment. They will get even more players, and I think it will take a year to get everyone to blend to how Pep Guardiola wants them to play, because it's been such a big rebuild. Plus, again, I'll go back to the Club World Cup. We can't put enough emphasis on it. There's no rest for these players. These players have finished the season, they've gone to international duty, straight into the Club World Cup, and then, you know, into what will be the Premier League. So I just feel, as much as I admire Pep so much, and I really do, I think he's an amazing a coach, and the way that everyone wants to copy him at almost all levels in almost all countries. But I still just think it's going to take another year to get back to where they once were. So I'm going for City third. Very tough one in terms of fourth as well. I want to see Chelsea in there. Of course I do. I think, again, it's between Villa, Newcastle and Chelsea. And I just feel, because Chelsea are involved in the Club World Cup, don't quite know what's going to happen in terms of recruitment. Liam Delap looks a good one, but he's still potential and unproven at the moment. And then for Maresca to try and combine the Premier League and Champions League, that's going to be hard enough with what is the youngest ever Premier League squad. You know, Newcastle, they don't have to worry about the Club World Cup, but they do have to worry about deal with the pressures mentally and physically of the Champions League and the Premier League as well. And I think because they've got such good director of football in Monchi, such a good manager in Unai Emery, and they will recruit really well. I thought they'll still be kicking themselves at what happened in the last game of the season. I just think their ability to go again when what is not quite as tough, the Europa League, as the Champions League. I'm going to go Aston Villa 4. I want to say Chelsea. Can I take my Chelsea hat off just for 1 second? My heart says Chelsea 5th. My head says Newcastle 5th.
Well, that would be a big drop-off for Chelsea. What about who's going down, Scott? 3 promoted clubs came up and they went straight back down again last season, so the gap is getting bigger. Do they go down again?
I think Sunderland do. I think they've got a reasonably kind, as much as they can be kind, opening fixtures, but you know, they've lost 2 quality players already, so they're actually, as it stands, not as good as they were when in the playoff final. So I do feel Sunderland, I think they'll struggle to get a lot of points. I think they'll be down quite early. Burnley, great defence in the Championship, of course, but it is a massive step up in class. They will concede a lot more. I'm not sure they'll score a lot more or enough goals to keep them up. So I do think Scotty Parker's a very clever manager, and he's learnt a lot in his short time already as a manager. But I think Sunderland and Burnley will go down. And do you know what? I actually think Leeds could stay up if they recruit well. I worry a little bit for Brentford. We don't yet know as we speak, who's going to be the new manager. And Thomas Frank, I mean, he's been the Don Daddy there, hasn't he, for many a year now. But I do worry about Wolves. They've lost Cunha, they've lost Ain't Nouri, they may lose Semedo as well. There's talks of Fer Lopez coming in, just 21 years of age from Celta Vigo. It's a big thing to say that he's going to help Wolves stay up. And Vitor Pereira, I think, did a sensational job coming in, but they're actually my third team, so Sunderland, Burnley and Wolves.
And Golden Boot winner, the obvious contenders. It is hard to look past them, isn't it?
How can you? How can you look past Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, Alexander Isak? The winner might be Chelsea if Arsenal get their centre forward in. It could be them if they go on and win the title. It could be that centre forward.
Brian Mbeumo, Dominic Solanke.
Yeah, they would be rank outsiders for me. We'll have to wait and see. Dominic Solanke could be a good one with Thomas Frank coming in. It still will be the attacking football. You can't look. I mean, I'm going to be really boring here. I'm going to say it's Erling Haaland, because he'll be chomping at the bit as well after the season. Still had a good season in terms of numbers, just not as good as the first season. Haaland for me, and my outsider is whoever either Arsenal sign or Dominic Solanke.
Scott Nostradamus Minto with his pre-season predictions in mid-June. Well, you put a pretty good effort in there. I mean, if they are absolutely right, well, you never know. We will see. Anyway, you are listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Watch every game in the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com. We are ready for the second half in Miami. It is Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1, and Real Madrid have made a half-time change. Arda Güler for Raul Asensio. So let's see how Real Madrid line up in terms of setup for the second half. Are they going to go to a back three, as we saw in Xabi Alonso's time in charge works so effectively at Bayer Leverkusen? Real Madrid get the game off and underway from right to left in the second half, all in white, and Al-Hilal all in blue, playing from left to right. Alexander-Arnold with an early ball over the halfway line to the newly arrived Arda Güler, and actually looking at it from the commentary position, it does seem as though they are sticking to a back four, with Tchouaméni dropping into the centre-half position. Vinicius Junior for Real Madrid back to Fran Garcia. Lots of Real Madrid fans all around the ground, but it's certainly not full once again at the Club World Cup. Vinny Junior goes on the outside and crosses, and the ball is thundered off the bar. And then a long-range effort from Howson. Arda Güler hitting the woodwork, having just come on. Vinicius Junior in the penalty area again, digs in the cross. What a save by the goalkeeper. Bellingham tries an overhead kick, and it's cleared away again. And there was a foul, high boot from Bellingham, I think. Gonzalo Garcia denied his second by the goalkeeper, and before that, Güler denied by the woodwork. It stays 1-1.
Well, this is what we were expecting from Real Madrid from the very start, weren't we? On the front foot, very poor in the first half, but on the front foot in the second. And he's hit the crossbar there, Arda Güler. So unlucky. The ball comes back out to Vinny Junior, who puts in an amazing little dink, little sandwich to the far post. Gonzalo Garcia gets above it. It's a brilliant save from Bono. Amazing save. No chance whatsoever when it's hit the bar, but he's got there quick, and Justin, his feet are behind the line. Fortunately for Al-Hilal, his hands are in front of the line, but a much better start from Real Madrid. This is what we were expecting.
Xabi Alonso may well have had words. 2 minutes into the second half on Talksport 2, with myself, Joe Shannon, and the former Chelsea defender Scott Minto. It is 1-1. Real Madrid with Courtois in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Tchouaméni, Howson and Fran Garcia, Güler, Valverde and Bellingham, Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo either side of Gonzalo Garcia. Vinicius Junior in the left wing position. I'll give you the Al-Hilal team again in a moment. Real Madrid, though, look like they have doubled the tempo. Bellingham from 25 yards out, dinks in the cross, header away by Koulibaly. I thought it was opening up for Bellingham to have a shot there from range. He's certainly capable, as Lodi hoists the ball away for Al-Hilal, and now it's brought down by Leonardo in the centre circle. Tries to play reverse pass to the left, but in the way was Tchouaméni. Suddenly, it's all Real Madrid. Alexander-Arnold. Inside right, further wide on the far side is Rodrigo, attacking the corner of the penalty area. Back to Alexander-Arnold, who crosses. He's overhit it, but Vinicius Junior will keep it in on the dead ball line. One-on-one with the defender, gets beyond Cancelo. Vinicius Junior to the left corner of the box, and he's blazed an attempt at a curling effort. So far wide, it nearly hit the corner flag. Here's the Al-Hilal team, no changes for them at the break. Bono in goal, Cancelo, Al-Tambakti, Koulibaly and Lodi. Neves and Nasser Al-Dassari, Malcolm Milinkovic-Savic and Salam Al-Dassari behind Leonardo up front. Here's Scott Minton.
Yeah, it's a much better start to the second half than it was to the first. I'm pretty sure Xabi Alonso would have said a few things in the dressing room. That was not good enough. Well, what a substitution that would have been if Arda Güler had put that in first time. Great volley, great connection. Just rattled the crossbar. Bono just didn't even move, had no chance whatsoever.
Doesn't get a lot of opportunities from the start, Arda Güler in matches.
He's a very talented player for sure.
Absolutely. As we saw at the Euros last summer.
Well, anyone who's wearing the Real Madrid shirt for sure are incredibly talented. It's another thing to be a regular first teamer. It's come on, it's what you want your substitutions to do to make some sort of impact. Inches lower would have been the perfect one.
Luka Modric among those on the Real Madrid bench. Kylian Mbappe among those not available tonight, as Malcolm pops the ball back about 10 yards to the feet of Al-Tambakti. Now Neves, midway inside the Real Madrid half, just to the right of centre. Angled ball to the touchline. João Cancelo controls, thinks about the cross, and then is blocked off by Fran Garcia. Howson and Valverde send the ball forward towards the halfway line. Vinicius Junior as Real Madrid come forward on the break. Simone Inzaghi, the new Al-Hilal coach, hopping mad on the touchline. Alexander-Arnold eludes Koulibaly. He can poke the ball to the right. It's deflected into the path of Rodrigo, who tried to drive at goal. Now Alexander-Arnold from the corner of the penalty area crosses, only half away by Al-Tambakti, as Valverde stretches to poke it back to Howson. Lovely diagonal ball, low along the ground to Vinicius Junior. Inside the penalty area, dead ball line. Real Madrid much better early in the second half. It's 1-1. Vinicius Junior left corner of the box. Al-Hilal have got everybody in blue back behind the ball. Real Madrid held up momentarily, and Valverde flashes an ambitious drive wide with his left foot.
Yeah, he's complaining he should have had a foul, but the referee played the advantage. You're right, from Howson. There's a really good ball pinged out to Vinny Junior, who came inside, and in the end Fede Valverde is on his left foot again. You don't shoot from there, just try and whip the ball in. 3 Real Madrid players at the far post. Just on Trent watch, did really well getting forwards, got forwards, but the ball kind of came back out, and just expecting one of his brilliant crosses coming in, he didn't quite get the accuracy on it. It was too low. It was a great opportunity for him, but at least he's getting forward a bit more.
His every move is going to be analysed, isn't it? Here come Al-Hilal with Salam Al-Dassari taking on Alexander-Arnold down the left. Infield early ball towards Leonardo, and it's a sliding clearance away from inside the penalty area by Tchouaméni. Bellingham carries the ball over halfway and finds Vinicius Junior on the left, but he was a bit over-eager with his quick ball back towards Bellingham, and Ruben Neves intercepts.
Yeah, that man Neves again, just reading the situation. He ran with Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham laid it off. But just the way he positioned his body again, just real football intelligence, making it difficult for Vinny Junior to play it back to Jude Bellingham, and in the end he won the ball, and now Al-Hilal have just been able to calm things down and get the ball back in possession, because the start of the second half has been all Real Madrid.
Still Germany leading 2-0 against England in the under-21 Euros at the group stages, live over on Talksport right now, but as it stands, England will go through anyway into the quarter-finals. João Cancelo out on the inside right for Al-Hilal, about 6 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Very congested area, that final third at the moment. On the overlap down the near side, the right, is Nasser Al-Dassari. He's tried to chip it back to his teammate, but Real Madrid win it back. Güler tries to 1-2 with Howson, who's lost it! Oh, and then it's into the side netting from Leonardo. Howson was slow to react. The ball deflected up into the air, and Leonardo from close range, well, he's looked a little rushed. It's like he's tried to strike it overexcitedly, and it's got into the side netting and it stays 1-1.
Yeah, just messing about at the back. Dean Helson trying to dink it over Malcolm, and in the end he got it. And you're right, I mean, in one sense he could have taken a touch, but if he was able to get a really good connection and twist his body around, you can understand why he did it. In hindsight, he should have taken that touch, but what an opportunity for them.
So that England under-21s game live over on Talksport right now. Earlier on Talksport 2, we brought you Manchester City's first game of their Club World Cup campaign. They beat Wydad Casablanca by 2-0 on Talksport 2. And we'll bring you the Women's Euros across the course of the summer as well. Live in Switzerland, every Lionesses game is live on Talksport as England look to retain their Euros title. Really looking forward to getting out to Switzerland and being part of the team. As Vinicius Junior is blocked off, and there's a throw rather, out on the near side of the field that has actually gone Al-Hilal's way. Right back position.
He's played well against Vinny Junior, Joao Cancelo. As I say, he's a player I liked a lot. Saw him at West Ham, first game of the season a few seasons ago. He dominated from left back. Honestly, it was a wonderful performance. Play left back, right back. Obviously fell out with Pep.
Yeah.
Didn't quite happen at Barcelona. But there's another one. Listen, I can't say it's a shame he's taking the money, it's his choice, but I still think he's a very, very good player, and there's been a good battle between the two. If anything, he probably has been on top over the whole 54 minutes so far.
Loan at Barcelona, loan at Bayern Munich as well. 1-1 the score, 9 minutes into the second half. Arda Güler at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Again, temperatures over 30 degrees. These are hot and humid conditions. We had a cooling break in the first half. It is late afternoon in Florida. Vinicius Junior down the Real Madrid left, infield to Valverde. Early ball right into the feet of Güler. Now back to Alexander-Arnold. He's midway inside the Al-Hilal half. It was all a bit narrow for Real Madrid there. And Rodrigo pokes it back to Güler again. Now Alexander-Arnold gets wide in a crossing position, delivers right-footed away by Koulibaly. Couldn't get it to beat Koulibaly and find Gonzalo Garcia, who in fairness to Alexander-Arnold was the only man in the middle. Quick throw taken by Real Madrid. Oh, and a heavy touch by Rodrigo. It's an Al-Hilal throw, and Xabi Alonso well aware that his team are right in a game here, but they have shown improvements in the second half, Scott.
Yeah, they've been much the better side in the second half. Well, much better and the better side. I'm not just saying it's just because of Arda Güler, but sometimes, everyone needs to step up. I talked about Joao Cancelo's played well against Vinny Junior, but Vinny Junior has done better in the second half. Güler nearly scored with his first touch. In the midfield, they're dominating a little bit more as well.
And Cancelo gets a cross in front of Vinicius Junior again, just having to move from out to in on the cover. Joao Cancelo, and now they break on the counter-attack. Al-Hilal with the captain Salem Al-Dassari showing a good tenacity in the middle of the park to win a 50-50 under a lot of pressure, but Real Madrid have now got a free kick for a foul on Güler. Is it the tempo above all that it just feels quicker for Real Madrid?
Absolutely, it's exactly what it is. One paced in the first half. It was almost as if they couldn't get used, either a mentality thing that they didn't want to be here, or a physical thing where they're struggling with the heat and humidity, but it's been much better now in the second half.
It's Slovenia 0, Czech Republic 2 in England's under-21 Euros group, so that pretty much guarantees England are going through to the quarters. They are losing 2-0 to Germany, but the Czech side would be on 3 points and England have 4, even though they're losing. So England are going through, barring an absolute glut of goals from Slovenia.
Slightly worrying though, didn't Germany make 11 changes?
Well, and they're going to win 3 from 3. It is concerning for Lee Carsley, but they're going to be there in the quarters, and coverage on the Talksport network. Free kick Real Madrid meanwhile, left wing position Arda Güler.
Peak as the tournament goes on, and I'm sure Real Madrid will be thinking that as well.
Absolutely, you don't want to get there too early. Dangerous position, this free kick out on the left. Arda Güler whips it in, it's a great ball, good header away by Koulibaly. Now Fede Valverde out on the right hand side, the number 8 wearing the The shirt number made famous by Tony Kroos. Jude Bellingham twisting and turning and drilling the ball in low from the right. Koulibaly away again, high up into the sky. Now they're on the break, Al-Hilal. Salem El-Dosari over the halfway line, trying to wriggle his way right through the middle, and he could be clear here. Fran Garcia gets across in front of him at the last moment to send it back to Courtois.
I'll tell you what, how well did he do there?
And here they come again, Real Madrid at the other end, and it's Bellingham who gets a sliced cross all wrong, but it is going to stay in place somehow. Bounced almost on the dead ball line, and kindly for Vinicius Jr. Infield from the left-hand side. Now Rodrigo at a tight angle in the penalty area. Can't smuggle his way through. Lots of good attacking play on show, but it is still 1-1 as we head towards the hour mark on Talksport 2.
Now, I wouldn't say it's brilliant football, but it's a really open game with two teams going for it. I say Salem El-Dosari, he's picked up the ball almost inside his own half. He's running and he's got 2 or 3 players around him. He's gone past a couple, Trent being one of them. And Fran Garcia actually did really well to not give up on that and just get the touch. I'll tell you what, if he'd gone past him, then he would have been 1-on-1.
You're listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Sign up at dazn.com. Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1. Real Madrid have dominated the second half. Al-Hilal have played on the counter. Jude Bellingham, left corner of the penalty area. He's sizing up his options, and he tried to dribble beyond one blue shirt too many. Malcolm was in the way with the challenge, but it has dropped to the feet of Valverde. Now 30 yards out, Bellingham with his back to goal, and a neat touch by Gonzalo Garcia to the left, and Vinicius Jr., who found that his touch was heavy under pressure from João Cancelo. No foul from the Portuguese. João Cancelo's given it back to Fran Garcia, though. There's no outlet at the moment for Al-Hilal. Gonzalo Garcia with a deflected shot. That's going to loop towards the dead ball line. Cancelo gets across. He's going to prevent the corner. But Real Madrid are racking up the territory here. The only threat to them at the moment is on the counter, as I say. Milinkovic-Savic wants a free kick right in front of the Al-Hilal dugout, but he doesn't get it.
I thought Howson fouled him, actually. It was a really good bit of play from when João Cancelo just pinged it up, chest off, around a couple of Real Madrid players. I just thought Howson just dived in there. Again, I don't mind it. The referee allowing things to go on. A bit of physical play.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rodrigo taking on Renan Lodi down the Real Madrid right. He heads for the dead ball line, and Lodi stands up well to the challenge and gets the block in, the number 6. And Rodrigo playing in the third of the field that's in shade here. Real Madrid, as Roberto Carlos, among the legends here, watches on.
Santi Solari as well.
Lots of Real Madrid legends here in the VIP section. And Vinicius Jr. out on the left-hand side. They'll have quite a few trophies between them.
Just a few.
Tchouaméni, midway inside the Al-Hilal half. And again, Real Madrid facing an 11-man defence really at the moment. Whipped in by Trent Alexander-Arnold, left-footed, only half cleared by Cancelo. Vinicius Jr. at the back post, left edge of the penalty area with a deep ball to the far post, and it's headed by Gonzalo Garcia across goal, but gathered by Bono.
Yeah, I said about how João Cancelo's had a good game, but he's defending with his arms behind him. Obviously he doesn't want any kind of possible handball, but how can you properly stop a cross? Especially when Vinny Jr. is running at you. He comes inside, whips it to the far post. And Garcia, well, he'll be feeling he can score another one here for sure. The game's starting to open up. Real Madrid starting to create more chances. He keeps putting himself in the right position, especially if the wide players get the ball. The chances will come.
Monterrey 1, Inter Milan 1, Ulsan 0, Mamelodi Sundowns 1, Manchester City 2, Wydad Casablanca 0 in the Club World Cup so far today. Pachuca against Red Bull Salzburg at 11. Delivery by Alexander-Arnold is headed away by Al-Tambakti in the end. And now Ruben Neves looking to surge towards the halfway line. Leonardo loses out. Alexander-Arnold middle of the park. Bellingham wide left. Vinicius Jr. darts into the box. Twists beyond Cancelo, and then lunging in is Al-Tambakti, who got something on the ball. Real Madrid thought it had gone out of play, and Vinicius Jr. feels that it should have been a corner. But play continues, and the great pace to this game continues as well. It's a really intriguing watch, and it's 1-1 with a lot of time, 28 minutes or so still to play. Here come Al-Hilal on the counter. Renan Lodi inside left. Can he pull it back into the penalty area? Faced up by Tchouameni, who forces him away from goal. Now it's with Renan Lodi again. On that far side touchline, rolls it back to Salem Al-Dosari, and they'll slow it down here.
I was thinking, Raul Asensio, do we see any kind of injury? I didn't see it.
So.
And he was the one who just gave away the penalty. We'll sort of find out if afterwards he has got a little niggle, or Xabi Alonso said, "You don't do that in my team, son."
Maybe.
Giving away the penalty. It was really silly, putting both arms around Leonardo.
We didn't see anything, did we, that would suggest that he was injured. So maybe. Here come the changes for Al-Hilal. Meanwhile, double substitution. Malcolm is going to be the first player to go off. And as I say, a double change. João Cancelo replaced as well. Hamad Al-Yami and Mohamed Al-Khatani are the two who come on.
I'm slightly surprised João Cancelo's come off. Again, it's hot, it's humid. He has struggled, hasn't he, in terms of injuries. So the fact that he is playing, he's probably never going to last 90 minutes. I don't think it's a substitution that Inzaghi would have wanted to have made. It's amazing to think, isn't it? We're coming up to 65 minutes and anything can happen still in this game.
Well, they are trying to surge forward with Al-Khatani straight away. Al-Hilal, a winger who has come through the club's academy, but he's been out-muscled on the dead ball line, and it's gone out to play for a goal kick to Real Madrid, who themselves are going to make a double change in a moment. And Lucas Vázquez, who is leaving the club after the Club World Cup, and Brahim Diaz are the two stripped and ready to come on in all white. And it is the end of Trent Alexander-Arnold's debut. Off he goes, the former Liverpool man, to be replaced by Lucas Vázquez. So his debut lasts 64 minutes. And the other change, Brahim Diaz for Rodrigo. Right, Scott Minto. Trent Alexander-Arnold watch. What have you made of it?
Yeah, I was on it. I thought it was solid without being exceptional. I think defensively he was okay, although just once Salim went past him and Fran Garcia did well. I think the main thing of what we know of him, his passing and his crossing, wasn't quite there today, but not exactly the debut he would have wanted, but it was solid enough.
He couldn't get into the game, could he really?
No.
But that's not his fault either, by the way.
That's not his fault, but there were times where he was in opportunities, to whip a ball in or play that sort of ball over the top, and it didn't quite happen, but it will come. It will come for sure. As I say, I think he's one of England's most gifted players, and not just of modern times, and players, not just right backs, but of all time. I genuinely think he's that good a passer.
So it stays 1-1, and there are 25 minutes plus added time to go in Miami, as Howson comes down to defence to make a good interception against Al-Khatani, who does look quite a lively presence out on the right. The changes that they've made, Al-Hilal, have been in the right side of the pitch, fullback and the winger. Here is Valverde standing almost on the centre spot, crosses the halfway line and finds Fran Garcia out to the left, and Vinicius Junior taking on the new fullback Al-Yami, and Bellingham will lay it square. Edge of the centre circle is Tchouameni, finds the opportunity to pick up Brahim Diaz on the right, and now Güler with a long-range shot. It is over the top by a distance.
It's an opportunity for him, should be better, should be hitting the target. 25 yards out, sort of centre right on his left foot. It's a perfect opportunity. In fact, it's 20 yards out. There's no one stopping the shots. Got to hit the target there.
Well, Xabi Alonso was a player with remarkable technique from range and remarkable vision in the game. You remember some of the goals that he scored when he was at Liverpool from distance, and Real Madrid as well, of course.
Amazing player. Amazing player. Just keep things ticking over in that defensive midfield role.
Pass accuracy.
The passing, and even defensively, he wasn't sort of seen as a tackler, but he didn't need to because he intercepted He's very much like a Mickey Carrick, reading the game so well. But yeah, brilliant passing.
And Fran Garcia on halfway has given it straight to Al-Qahtani. Al-Qahtani scampers in field and has rolled it towards Koulibaly, left of centre, shy of the halfway line. The referee has stopped the game because Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is down. As we go into the final quarter on Talksport 2, first game of the Club World Cup, the group stages for both teams. Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1. It was Fran Garcia with the challenge on the much taller Milinkovic-Savic. But by no means certain that Real Madrid escape with the win here. Al-Hilal have just taken the opportunity, it feels like, since the substitutions to get a bit of momentum back, and indeed now, as Milinkovic-Savic is treated, we're into the cooling break again.
Look, I think Simone Inzaghi will be absolutely delighted with the 68 minutes so far, and there's no reason why they can't at least get a draw out of this. I mean, all three results are still possible. And the way they've played, yes, they were better in the first half. Real Madrid have stepped it up in the second, but it's still a really difficult one to call. I wouldn't be surprised if it probably stays 1-1 all the way, and that's a brilliant result for Al-Hilal. As I say, we've still got over 20 minutes plus injury time left. Now it's a question of tiredness, isn't it? Physical tiredness, more substitutions maybe. And we'll see how the players deal with that in this heat and humidity.
Xabi Alonso is giving instructions to some of his players, going around them individually, and he's speaking to Dean Howson now. And you are listening to the FIFA Club World Cup live on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Sign up now at DAZN.com to watch every game live and for free. Scott Minto, former Chelsea defender, is with us tonight on Talksport 2, and Scott and I will be back on Friday here on 2 for Chelsea against Flamengo, and Manchester City, who got off to a winning start earlier today, take on Al Ain on Monday at 2 a.m. over on Talksport. So make sure you've got hold of the Talksport app, and then you can go between our stations as and when you need to be across all of the Club World Cup action, the under-21 Euros as well, and from July, the Women's Euros in Switzerland. All of the England games will be live with us. Still, England's under-21s 2-0 down against Germany, but it doesn't matter, they're heading to the quarter-finals anyway, it looks like. And barring an unprecedented turn of events, really, and an enormous amount of goals in the other game in their group, the other game is going the way that England would want it to. So they're going to be okay. 1-1 here as the cooling break is over. And Milinkovic-Savic wants to carry on, but he's going to have to wait a few moments to be called back on by the referee. And indeed, he's called back on almost instantly. Really bright blue skies and hot sunshine here. Less than 20 to go. Al-Hilal go back to goalkeeper Bono. And on the balance of play, Scott Minto, Al-Hilal deserve for it to be 1-1.
No, they absolutely do. And, you know, the big boys are Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world, the team that's won this competition, well, obviously not in terms of its format, but yeah, the Club World Cup, the most times Champions League.
Salam Al-Dasari has stolen it down the left-hand side, pulls it back to Leonardo, who hits it over the top. First time left-footed. It's another great opportunity for the Brazilian striker, but he just cannot convert. Al-Hilal should be ahead.
Well, what an opportunity again. He's got to hit the target. I mean, how many times have we said that today? But Lucas Vazquez is dispossessed, the ball's cut back. And Dean Howson he's positioned himself very well body-wise, but still on his left foot, Leonardo. He can whip it around him and keep it down. He's whipped it around him, but it's gone over the bar. And I said that I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up 1-1. I get the feeling that the next goal wins this, but what an opportunity. There won't be too many more from now to the end of the game.
Alex Scott has got a goal back for England's under-21s against Germany, but England still trail 2-1. Live on Talksport right now. 1-1 here, and the sense that there's a great balance in the game going into the last 18 minutes. The Winner could come for either team if it does arrive. Brahim Diaz for Real Madrid inside the penalty area. Beyond Koulibaly, lays it off. And Valverde's low effort is gathered by the goalkeeper. It was straight at Bono. And now it's Real Madrid's turn to miss what was maybe not quite as presentable an opportunity, but a chance nonetheless.
No, it wasn't quite as big, but still, the game is opening up. You know, the quality of these Real Madrid players have got to do a little bit better. He's hit the target, but it's straight at Bono. That's what we want to see, isn't it? Just, we wonder whether people will get tired, players will get tired, and it will just, the pace would go down, but if anything, it's quickened.
Not petering out at all. Jude Bellingham 25 yards out, left of centre, out to Vinicius Junior on the left, and his in-swinging right-footed cross is blocked by the first man. Bellingham lets the ball trickle out of play for a throw, gets a shove in the back from Al-Qahtani. Throw to Real Madrid close to the corner flag. The Real Madrid fans up on their feet. They're just behind Jude Bellingham as the throw goes back to Valverde. Now Houston at walking pace, middle of the Al-Hilal half. Out on the right is Brahim Diaz. Couple of step overs. Ball back to Lucas Vazquez. He crosses, headed away. 2 touches on there. One from Ruben Neves, one from Al-Yami, and that is a Real Madrid corner. Out on the near side as we look at it.
Again, you know, it's Real Madrid. I mean, they are Real Madrid, so they have to try and go for it. Looking at the players, they're all breathing heavily. Who wants this more?
Arda Güler, left-footed out-swinging delivery. All the flick at the near post from Bellingham, but nobody could get onto it. And Real Madrid have had to go all the way back now to Courtois. He was miles out of his goal, all in green, Thibaut Courtois. Ball out to the right-hand side, and Real Madrid can come forward again. The tempo much better in the second half from Xabi Alonso's team in his first game in charge, but they have not had a goal to show for all that. And indeed, they could easily be behind. Howson's angled pass to the right-hand side. Lucas Vazquez with a heavy touch under pressure from Renan Lodi, and it's behind for a goal kick. Vazquez thought he was caught, but nothing given by the referee Facundo Tello other than a goal kick. Have you been surprised, Scott, by how good Al-Hilal have been, or is it partly because Real Madrid have not turned up, certainly in the first half, in the way that we'd expect?
Yeah, no, they didn't in the first half. They were poor, but I'd like to give credit to Al-Hilal for the way they've kind of dominated. Look, it goes one of two ways when you play a club as big as Real Madrid. You either get intimidated or you get lifted by it. And these are good players. We've talked about it before. You know, experienced players with Bono in goal and Koulibaly, Ruben Neves, Milinkovic-Savic. It's a shame Alexander Mitrovic isn't playing.
Yeah.
I think he would have loved to have played it. Watching some of the chances they've had here. So, look, I don't think Real Madrid have been at it. I think Al-Hilal have been superb considering who they're up against. And if they can even get a point, it might be a part of them. Let's say we're slightly disappointed we didn't get all three. We had the chances to do it, but I still think a point in this group will be absolutely massive, because you would imagine Real Madrid would get better, and then they'd be favourites for second at least.
And Nasser Al-Dassari, who's just been treated for cramp, is coming off. Mohamed Kano onto the field. He was a regular for Saudi Arabia at the World Cup a couple of years ago, where you might remember they shocked Argentina, who of course went on to win the tournament. 1-1, 14 minutes to go, and I think there'll be a lot of added time. Scott Minto here, 5, 6, 7 minutes maybe.
Well, we're used to that, aren't we, already in this tournament? Yeah, I'm sure.
Had the cooling break, had a couple of injury stoppages.
Yeah, maybe a minimum of 5.
Back it goes to Bono, the goalkeeper. Plenty of time for Real Madrid, but at the moment they're not going to make a winning start to the Xabi Alonso era. Flick towards Jude Bellingham, who's tried to shrug aside Ruben Neves. Neves now goes down. Free kick to Al-Hilal. Neves has stayed down on the turf. Maybe just overstretching with his right leg, Ruben Neves there. But he's being helped to his feet by a couple of his teammates. Cano is across, and now he's being helped to stretch that right leg.
Yeah, it's a bit of cramp. Not the first one already. Looking at Jude Bellingham there, just hunched over as well, trying to breathe it in. It's very difficult conditions, they really are, especially when we're playing
this. And look, the quality hasn't always been brilliant, or not what we'd expect from Real Madrid. Al-Hilal have been superb, but it has been played with a pretty much a high intensity, as high as it could be in these sorts of conditions.
Ruben Neves back on his feet, and Al-Hilal go back to goalkeeper Bono, who made that one brilliant save just moments after Arda Güler had hit the bar, but other than that has not had a great deal to do. Lucas Vázquez for Real Madrid finds Arda Güler in the centre circle. Valverde down the middle to Bellingham. Bellingham breaking between the lines. He's got support out to his right. Valverde drifting forward, back to Jude Bellingham, and he couldn't control. Right on the edge of the penalty area. And Al-Hilal trying to counter-attack. Milinkovic-Savic has nudged it forward to the substitute Cano, and now Salim Al-Dassari out on the left-hand side, infield away from Lucas Vázquez. He's within shooting range. He's played a reverse ball to Cano on the underlap down the left edge of the penalty area. Cano, very tall player, has held it up. Back they go to Renan Lodi in the middle of the Real Madrid half. Now Milinkovic-Savic out to Cano in the left wing position. Renan Lodi forward on the underlap, dead ball line. He controls inside the area, chips in the cross, only half away. Al-Qahtani slides in to try and get hold of possession, but he can't. Now Real Madrid break. Gonzalo Garcia over the halfway line. 1-1 on Talksport 2. He's beyond Koulibaly, but he's not beyond the other defender, Alton Bakhti, who rolls the ball to the feet of the goalkeeper Bono, and he will clear it away from danger. Suddenly the game feels really stretched, really open. Here come Al-Hilal again. Lodi can't keep it in play down the left, and I think he's overstretched. Meanwhile, Real Madrid make another substitution. Off goes Vinicius Jr. and Victor Munoz, who is a young winger who made his La Liga debut in El Clasico in May. He's got incredible speed. He will replace Vinicius Jr. for the remaining 11 minutes plus added time.
Well, if the last thing you want is a fullback, one guy goes off, another one comes on.
Electric pace, apparently, Scott.
Pace. It's not nice.
One of the fastest in the squad.
Yeah.
Victor Munoz.
And look, Vinny Jr. has been much better in the second half. But, players got to be managed. This is not about all or nothing. This is not the final now. And if they have to get a draw, not really good enough, and I'm sure the Madrid papers will say that, but still, just make sure, keep everybody fresh and not injured.
Well, there were massive cheers a few moments ago because Luka Modric is stripped and ready to come on, wearing that famed number 10, 13 years at Real Madrid, and he will leave once their Club World Cup campaign is done. 28 major honours with Real Madrid. Milinkovic-Savic for Al-Hilal, ball over halfway, not a good one. Couldn't direct it down the right at a good enough angle to get it anywhere near Al-Qahtani. Chouameni retreats to retrieve possession with ease, and he's not even under pressure. Vázquez over halfway, down the right, the far side to Brahim Diaz, taking on Renan Lodi. Heading for the corner of the penalty area, then checks back, plays it backwards to Valverde, square to Güler. About 35 yards from goal, left of centre is Fran Garcia. Wide to Victor Munoz, who's just come on, taking on Al Yamin. Back now to Fran Garcia again, and it's at the feet of Dean Howson. Forward ball to Brahim Diaz, steers it wide to Lucas Vázquez, and a looping deflection on the cross of Lodi. Takes it behind for another Real Madrid corner. There are some tired legs among the Al-Hilal players now, I think.
Yeah, just as Luka Modric is coming on the pitch as well. You can hear the cheers of the Real Madrid fans in the stadium. It's amazing when you think about it, Joe. If you'd have said to me at 81 minutes gone, 1-1, and you still wouldn't be able to call which way this is going to go, I'd have snapped your hand off for it.
They're going to wait to make the change. Real Madrid as Arda Güler hoists in the corner, and the header is over the top. Howson was there. Did it take a deflection off his marker? Still waiting to see what the referee's decision is going to be. Everybody stayed inside the 18-yard box. It is another corner to Real Madrid. And the referee's looked over to the touchline again. And it's unclear whether the changes are going to be made now. There's a couple on the way for Al-Hilal, and certainly one on the way here for Real Madrid. And the substitutions are going to take place. Off goes Leonardo, and Renan Lodi, who's been tiring, also coming off for Al-Hilal. And confirmation of the two players who are taking to the pitch, Musab Al-Jawaya and Moteb Al-Harbi. So those are pretty much straight swaps. Real Madrid have still not made their change yet to bring on Luka Modric, but they will shortly. Corner from Goulet into the near post again after that long delay, but it's come to nothing. The ball has come back out to Goulet on the near side, the left, dancing feet to try and turn away from the right back Al-Yami, but he's done well to shepherd it out of play. And now the Real Madrid fans will get one of the big moments of the day. Off goes Jude Bellingham, and the club's most decorated player of all time starts his long goodbye at the Club World Cup. Luka Modric will leave Real Madrid at the end of this competition. What a servant he has been. Real Madrid shirts with his name on the back are being held up into the air, the Croatian flag being unfurled all around the stadium too. A legend of Real Madrid and one of the greatest players all time in the European game.
I mean, just that stat, you had me at the most decorated Real Madrid player of all time. When you think about what this club has done, decades going back, dominating the European Cup, you know, over years as well. Obviously there was a barren period, but then there's suddenly lots and all the great players, and yet he's the most decorated one. I remember when I was covering Spanish football, he was voted in his first season at Christmas time the worst foreign signing.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
If only they could see what we know now.
He shut them up, didn't he?
Just a bit. Scott Minto played in Europe with Benfica, former Chelsea, West Ham defender. Florentino Perez, the president of Madrid, watches on. President of Real Madrid, Xabi Alonso on the near side touchline. It is 1-1. 5.5 minutes to go. Brilliant game. Is there going to be a winner though? Probably 1-1 feels about fair.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid have come into it more in the second half where they were poor in the first.
Howson has tapped the ball wide left. Victor Munoz, the substitute, dinks in the cross, headed away. Altan Bakhti, who's been solid, is there. Drops for Modric, left corner of the penalty area, tried the reverse ball into the box. Intercepted by Ruben Neves, who clears. Now Milinkovic-Savic has knocked it over halfway. And there's a run down the inside left for Al-Jawaya, the substitute. Back to Milinkovic-Savic, and then the poke back to the goalkeeper from Modric when it was a tackle, not a deliberate back pass. It eluded Salem Al-Dassari. It looked for a moment there like he might get on the end of it, but nothing doing. Real Madrid now break immediately, looking to get upfield at the other end. From right to left, late in the game, it's 1-1. England's under-21s 1, Germany 2. Still a latest score over on Talksport. But England are going to be okay. They're going to head to the quarterfinals, regardless of what looks like being a defeat. Modric for Real Madrid. Square ball to Victor Munoz. Further wide left is Fran Garcia, led with the edge of the penalty area. Back to Modric again, and he's played another square ball to Valverde. Now Al-Hilal really are sitting with everybody back behind the ball. Arda Güler, right edge of the penalty area. Pokes it through the middle to Brahim Diaz, whose shot is charged down by Koulibaly. He's been excellent, Kalidou Koulibaly.
I wish it was more like that in a Chelsea shirt.
Didn't happen for him, did it? In that season, though, that was a strange Chelsea season for many reasons, regardless. Brahim Diaz out on the right towards the corner of the 18-yard box, and it is attack-free defence now. Real Madrid in by Tchouaméni towards Gonzalo Garcia. The header away by Altan Bakhti, and Brahim Diaz goes down towards the corner of the penalty area after an aerial challenge. And actually, has he given the free kick belatedly here, the referee, as he just stopped it?
No, it's because it's a head challenge, that's why. And look, he's put his arm across, there's no doubt about it, and caught him, Fran Garcia. It's not a foul. He's just had to be careful because he stayed down for a period of time, and obviously when it's a head injury, you have to stop the game. Well, he's fine.
Al-Qahtani's challenge, and well, he is bleeding from his mouth, Fran Garcia.
He has got a cut lip. You can live with that.
3 minutes to go. Al-Qahtani protests his innocence, but I think Al-Hilal are going to get the ball back from the restart. Do you think some of the Real Madrid players, Scott Minto, are surprised by the challenge they faced? Or is it teething issues, new manager, new regime?
I think it's a bit of everything at the above. I said at the start of the game, you know, when you think about the season that they had, finished second in the La Liga, you know, runners-up in the Copa del Rey. They lost to Arsenal in the Champions League. They looked as if they were just out on their feet physically. And it's not a thing you can just pick up and be fit again and full of running. I also do think, not just with the heat and the humidity and from that, you know, adding on to that as physical side. Mentally, were they bang up for it from the first minute? Well, I'll tell you what, Al-Hilal were. And I'd like to give them a big compliment. And you know, they're from the outset, they were pretty much...
He's checking for a possible penalty, the referee. Al-Qahtani on Fran Garcia, and there's a yellow card for Ruben Neves, who's got to be careful not to talk himself into more trouble. But VAR has recommended that the referee go and check the monitor, and we know what usually happens in this situation. Al-Qahtani, flailing arm, catches Fran Garcia. Is that a penalty, Scott Minter?
Never in a million years. Does he catch him? Yes. He's not looking at him. It's a natural arm movement. And Fran Garcia has certainly made the most of it. And I don't necessarily blame him for that. But please understand the game.
He's surprised he's been sent to the monitor.
Yes.
Because they're saying clear and obvious error. That's a foul. Al-Qahtani's arm catches Fran Garcia. He's not even looking at the player, Al-Qahtani.
No, I mean, the only thing he can think of is that the kind of the speed of the left arm coming out. But it's just, he knows someone's there. He's trying to protect it. It's almost Fran Garcia's gone into his arm. And he's caught him. Yes, he has. But I'm sorry. No, it's not a penalty for me. It's a natural contact sport where his arm has done something in a natural way. But he's gone to the monitor, he'll make his decision, it will end up being a penalty.
After review, number 15, make a foul. Final decision is penalty.
You know what's coming. Facundo Tello, you heard him, the referee awards the penalty kick. Al-Qahtani looks absolutely dejected, he can't believe it. But Real Madrid will get a penalty, much to the delight of the vast majority of the crowd here. And Al-Hilal are going to be furious with the referee. It looked innocuous at first. It looked like the incident was going to pass without any check at all. Al-Qahtani's been booked. And Simone Inzaghi is fuming as well. But there will be a penalty for Real Madrid.
Well, they don't deserve this. And the game doesn't deserve to be... I mean, it's still got a score yet. But to be a winning goal like this, it's a shocking decision. It's a really poor decision. Inzaghi, you cannot believe what he is seeing.
The VAR looked at it, Scott, recommended a check. Now the referees looked at it. That's two officials who thought the same thing.
We know what happens when referees get sent over.
You're right. It takes courage, doesn't it, to change it?
Absolutely. I wonder whether they're thinking clearly, looking at a decision, or actually they're now starting to think, well, what happens if I go against a group of people who are up there thinking that I've made the wrong decision? What's going to happen to me then? Al-Qahtani cannot believe it. Inzaghi cannot believe it. The Al-Hilal players cannot believe it. It's about a lack of understanding of football. Real Madrid, they're a big side, aren't they? They get decisions.
There's a big Real Madrid crowd in here today. A minute through, 5 added at the end of the game. Fede Valverde, hands on hips with the chance to win the match here. Right-footed from the spot, saved by Bono! What a stop from the goalkeeper! And Al-Hilal will feel that justice is done. A penalty save from Bono, who's got a record at international level of saving spot kicks, as he did at the World Cup in 2022 against Spain. And he saved one here at the Club World Cup against Real Madrid. Valverde denied, and it's still 1-1. Brilliant from Bono.
Great save. I'll say great save. It's gone the right way. It's not a great penalty. And if the goalkeeper does go the right way, it's got to be hit with power and precision, and it wasn't from Valverde. You know, and I just think back to early in the first half, where was it Rodrigo who put his arm up in the box and the player went down, and that wasn't given. You tell me what's different, Joe, from that in the first half to that now right at the end of the game.
Well, I think Justice has been done, really. But the fourth official's putting the board up now to say 7 added minutes. So we're 2.5 through 7.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You think about the cooling break, how long that took with the penalty decision, substitutions, could have been more.
2.5 through 7, it's 1-1. Now Catani, who gave away the penalty that's been saved, is at the other end. Would you believe it? Is there any chance here that Al-Hilal could nick something? They have given it away on the halfway line. Real Madrid break. Victor Munoz with his pace, bursting down the left-hand side. Only Gonzalo Garcia in the middle at the moment. Munoz holds it up. Back to Goulet, corner of the penalty area. 1-2 with Luka Modric. 4 minutes of added time to go. Real Madrid are going to drop points at the Club World Cup, it looks like. Munoz out in the left-wing position again. Delivers the in-swinging cross, headed away by Koulibaly to the edge of the penalty area. Flicked further clear by Al-Juwair. They're defending brilliantly here, the Saudi Pro League team. It's finished England 1, Germany 2 at the under-21 Euros, but England are through to the quarters anyway. Out on the right is Lucas Vazquez for Real Madrid. Halfway through added time now. Tchouaméni, it's all Real Madrid at the very end, but have they left it too late, ultimately? Brahim Diaz, 35 yards out, square to Valverde, towards the edge of the D, through towards Gonzalo Garcia, now Victor Munoz, across goal, only half away, shot from Goulet, blocked by Al-Tambakti, offside flag was up anyway. Free kick to Al-Hilal.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are defending for their lives right now, aren't they, Al-Hilal? Real Madrid, they genuinely believe that they can go on and win this. So what an opportunity. You're not going to have a better opportunity than having a penalty. They're not giving up on it. Still got 3 minutes.
Gonzalo Garcia's just been given the sponsors man of the match, which, well, does not make sense for me.
No, it certainly wouldn't be mine.
I think there are several Al-Hilal players who are further ahead in the queue. And the Al-Hilal fans, yes, they're vastly outnumbered, but they are the supporters who are cheering in the crowd at the moment. 2.5 of 7 added to go, and you can't help but feel that Simone Inzaghi's already made a difference to this Al-Hilal team.
Yeah, just in it's not just about sort of time in terms of training sessions, but there'll be a lot of video analysis and how he wants his team to play. But still, the fact that he has only really just joined and they've put in a performance like this against Real Madrid, it'll give them so much confidence.
Must rank as one of the best results in their history if they do get something. Out on the left is Victor Munoz for Real Madrid. 2 minutes of added time to go. 1-1 and Real Madrid have missed a spot kick. In by Dean Howson. Brilliant ball. Downward header. Gonzalo Garcia is straight at Bono. Either side of him, and maybe Real Madrid do win it in stoppage time.
Well, they're not giving up on it at all, are they? It's a good cross to the far post. It's a decent enough header, but in the end, the defender does enough to make sure he doesn't put it where he wants to.
Well, time is running out for Real Madrid. And Xabi Alonso here, of course, it certainly isn't the end of their campaign. Dropping points, not the end of the world at all, and you'd still expect them to win the group. But this will be the first big shock of the Club World Cup. A minute and 10 seconds to go, and Real Madrid have got a corner out on the far side with the score 1-1. Delivered in left-footed by Arda Güler. Tchouaméni was up there. Has that hit Koulibaly? Goal kick given by the referee in the end. It looped over the top.
Tell you what, it's been a really enjoyable game. Real Madrid poor in the first half. Al-Hilal very good. Madrid coming back into it in the second. Al-Hilal still having chances. Think about that Leonardo chance where he should have kept it down. And Real Madrid will believe now that they should have gone on to have won the game. But I think 1-1 is a fair result. I think it'll be heartbreaking for Al-Hilal to have lost this match. And in the way that they could have lost the match with the penalty as well.
They have a free kick on the edge of the centre circle, and with 20 seconds to go, that should be that. And they will slow the game down, I think, sensibly here.
I just feel with that incident in the first half, whether people agree or disagree whether that was a penalty or not, you've got to show consistency. And there was a similar one with Rodrigo putting his arm up that it went to the face, the player went down and it wasn't given.
Here is Milinkovic-Savic. Good early ball down the left-hand side. Can they win it here, Al-Hilal? The cross is blocked by Luka Modric. Al-Hilal will get a corner. We've played the 7 minutes of added time, and there's just enough time to take it. Real Madrid Well, Xabi Alonso mopping his brow, maybe concerned that they could lose the game.
Well, just hurry up and take it. Just get it in there and see what happens, because you're over. And this is it. This is the moment. And they come away with all 3 points.
Salem Al-Dosari, the captain, will take the corner. Right-footed and in-swinging into the near post and away by Valverde on the volley. A throw-in given to Al-Hilal, and we haven't ended the game yet. Into the 8th minute of added time we go. Al-Hilal go all the way back to goalkeeper Bono. Still no sign that the referee is ready to blow his whistle just yet. Don't think he's looked at the watch. Here come Al-Hilal once more with the tall, rangy Cano. And now the ball is picked up by Al-Jawaya, who sprays it crossfield to the left. Salem Al-Dosari is there. Kept it in play down by the dead ball line. They're still on the attack, Al-Hilal. Al-Jawaya lays it square. Ruben Neves thought about a shot. Intercepted and blocked off by Goulet. Al-Hilal win it back. And Koulibaly's got it on the halfway line. Into the 9th minute of added time. Still 1-1 on Talksport 2. Real Madrid with a chance to break. Goulet carries it forward into opposition territory. Was fouled by the retreating substitute Al-Tabi. And Simone Inzaghi wants the whistle, but it hasn't gone yet. Real Madrid free kick taken quickly to the right-hand side. Brahim Diaz darting forward towards the dead ball line. Lucas Vazquez on the overlap. Sliding in is the defender Al-Tabi again, and it's gone behind for a Real Madrid corner. This surely will be the last action. 9 minutes of added time.
I don't know where they got 9 minutes from when there's 7. We're 2 minutes over now.
Corner drifted in by Luka Modric. Howson, it's over his head. Arda Güler in the back post, blocked. And now Valverde's curler. Oh, it's bouncing around in the penalty area, and it's gathered by Bono. Surely that is it. Milinkovic-Savic says, that's it, it's finished, referee. But he hasn't blown the whistle yet. 9.5 minutes into added time. And still we play on. And that is the full-time whistle. Al-Hilal get a magnificent draw that they thoroughly deserve. And we have the first big surprise of the 2025 Club World Cup. Xabi Alonso, in his first game in charge as Real Madrid head coach, sees his team drop points in their opening group match, and Simone Inzaghi's new Al-Hilal's team completely merits their points. Real Madrid took the lead through Gonzalo Garcia, but before half-time had reached us. Ruben Neves equalised from the penalty spot, and then another controversial penalty right at the start of stoppage time for Real Madrid was saved by Bono to deny Fede Valverde a winner. It has finished Real Madrid 1, Al-Hilal 1, and Scott Minto, anything else I think would have been an injustice.
Look, first of all, I want to say what a fantastic game to watch. People say what they say about this particular tournament, but I think we've seen some really good games already, and this was the big boys of Real Madrid up against the little Al-Hilal, and how good were they? And it would have been heartbreaking for them to have lost the game, almost with whatever type of goal, but especially with that incident as well. So absolutely, a draw was a fair result.
Okay, it is now time to pick our man of the match, all thanks to DAZN.
Man of the Match on Talksport 2, presented by DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free on DAZN. Sign up now at DAZN.com.
Scott Minto, quite a few candidates. Who do you reckon?
Yeah, look, you know, Real Madrid came back into it in the second half, but how could he not give it to one of the Al-Hilal players? I thought Koulibaly defended absolutely brilliantly. I thought Salem Al-Dosari was dangerous down the left-hand side as well. Milinkovic-Savic, we know, is a class player, but I'm giving it to Ruben Neves, and not just because he calmly took that penalty. I thought he controlled the game at times against the superstars of Real Madrid. And I thought defensively and as starting attacks, he was brilliant.
Scott, thank you. That was our man of the match with DAZN. Watch every game of the FIFA Club World Cup live and for free one with DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com.